stand before you proud to be a servant of such a heroic people. Today I stand before you to proclaim that our heroic youth in the various fronts have turned the tide of this war. They have smashed all enemy offensives directed at our destruction. In the air, they have destroyed systematically the sinews of Nigeria's military might. The Biafran Air Force, small as it is, has stopped the entire oil flow of Nigeria from the mainland wells. All protestations to the contrary by the British Broadcasting Corporation and Harold Wilson are mere wishful thinking. Our gallant boys are men tempered of steel. They have wrested the initiative from the Gawan enemy, and the Nigerian hordes are in trepidation and on the point of rout. The confusion of the enemy in the battlefields is only matched by the confusion in his home. Fight on, brave boys, fight on, heroes of our fatherland. Pursue the enemy, harass him, destroy the invader. March on, brave boys, now that victory is in sight. March on and hasten the disintegration of the enemy already set in motion.
Fellow Biafrans, on the occasion of your rally to demonstrate your solidarity with the struggles of your kith and kin back home, I send to you all fraternal greetings. As one who has been entrusted with the onerous responsibilities of guiding our young republic through these difficult times, I must confess that it is always a source of deep pleasure and encouragement to me to receive assurances of the support of the people and their continuing determination to persevere until complete victory is achieved. It is, therefore, with feelings of unbounded pleasure and deep appreciation that I salute this august gathering. You are all aware that for over 4 months now, Nigeria has been waging a war of aggression to destroy Biafra and her people. This invasion by Nigerian hordes was mounted because the people of the former eastern region of Nigeria were forced on May the 30th, 1967, to declare themselves the independent state of Biafra in order to assure the security of their lives and property. As you are aware, the people of the former eastern region of Nigeria had believed, as if it were an article of faith, in the concept of a united Nigeria. No section of the then Federation of Nigeria had worked as assiduously for the attainment of this ideal as did Eastern Nigeria and her people. No section had made as many and varied positive contributions towards the realization of true unity. Having over the years spearheaded the movement for closer union, having demonstrated our faith in Nigeria in concrete terms by allowing our sons and daughters to sojourn in other parts of the country, thereby contributing tremendously to the development of such areas to the neglect of our own, it was a hard decision for us to take to opt out of a federation in which we had invested so much. But we had no real choice. Over the years, our erstwhile compatriots had made it clear in unmistakable terms that they did not want us in the Federation. Since the 1950s, our people were expropriated and discriminated against in parts of Nigeria other than their own. Furthermore, the experience of the 3 harrowing waves of remorseless genocide in 1945, 1953, and especially in 1966, involving a total of nearly 40,000 dead and countless others maimed or destitute, provided an object lesson which could not but be taken seriously. Self-preservation is probably the strongest human instinct, and it is this that has compelled the harassed and persecuted people of eastern Nigeria to seek refuge in their own home and amongst their kindred. As a proverb of one of our Biafran languages has it, a man who is rejected by others cannot reject himself. The inordinate ambition of the Hausa-Fulani oligarchy to continue to dominate the whole of what was formerly the Federation of Nigeria, the unrealistic desire to acquire the wealth and resources of Biafra while rejecting their people, the mad and homicidal desire to exterminate from the face of the earth 14 million Biafrans drove Gawan and his clique towards unleashing a costly war to attain the unattainable, the subjugation of this young but promising republic. Even with the vast resources of the former Federation of Nigeria with which to prosecute the war, even with the active collaboration of those international opportunists, Britain and the Soviet Union, an unholy alliance of vested interests, even with the attempt to subvert our government by suborning some of our highly placed military and civilian personnel, an attempt which was foiled at the nick of time, Gawan has failed to make good his boast to crush Biafra. A campaign which he bragged would only take 48 hours to accomplish has now dragged on for almost 5 months and will drag on for as long as it takes Gawan and his clique, both Nigerian and others, to realize that nothing can shake the will or crush the spirit of a determined people. If Gawan's military campaign has achieved anything, it is only a confirmation of the fact that Biafrans have nothing to expect but destruction from the hands of their erstwhile Nigerian compatriots. In the few border towns which fell into the hands of the Nigerian forces, Biafrans were pillaged and what could not be stolen was destroyed, while the men were shot and tortured and the women defiled. Even foreign correspondents have testified to the massive killings of people of Biafran origin and a particular ethnic grouping in the Republic of Benin when that young republic fell into the hands of the Nigerians as a result of treachery. Instead of accepting the fact and the truth which they know, that they forced the people of the former eastern region out of the Federation, the Nigerian aggressors have been attempting to dupe the world by claiming that we seceded in order to keep our oil wealth to ourselves. You all know that in spite of our oil and other resources, the former eastern Nigerians were always the greatest advocates of unity. General Ironsi, himself an Easterner, was murdered by the northern Nigerians because of his determination to unify the country. For a people who have made such great sacrifices and abandoned their most valuable investments in Nigeria in quest for safety, this is the unkindest thing to say. No, it is the Nigerian leaders themselves who are in fact guilty of what they accuse us of, and have shown beyond doubt that they are only interested in having our resources and not our people. Our detractor fellow Biafrans, on the occasion of your rally to demonstrate your solidarity with the struggles of your kith and kin back home, I send to you all fraternal greetings. As one who has been entrusted with the onerous responsibilities of guiding our young republic through this,
Nnamdi Kanu, Amadike. Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu. Nnamdi Kanu, Ọhamadike Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, Nnamdi Kanu, Ọhamadike. Ike agwụgo ndị ilo ihe. Nnamdi Kanu, Nnamdi Kanu, Ọhamadike. Nnamdi Kanu, Nnamdi Kanu, Ọhamadike. Ọhamadike Biafra. Nnamdi Kanu, Nnamdi Kanu, Ọhamadike. Odogwu na-egburu abụke. Nnamdi Kanu, Nnamdi Kanu, Ọhamadike. Ike agwụgo ndị iloyi. Nnamdi Kanu, Nnamdi Kanu, Ọhamadike. Ndị iloyi na-achọzi udo. Nnamdi Kanu, Nnamdi Kanu, Ọhamadike. Mana oge zugo. Nnamdi Kanu, Nnamdi Kanu, Ọhamadike. Ụmụ Biafra gana. Nnamdi Kanu, anyị Nnamdi Kanu, Ọhamadike. Egwu ọgbala nze o, egwu megwu ikolobịa, egwu ndị kalobi, ikolobịa bi n'obodo a, mmadụ anọzi ikpe ya. Egwu ndị ikolobịa o, Biafra bala anyị, obele nwa onye fọrọ ikpe bụ Chukwu zitere anyị ya. Chukwu okike abịa ma sitelie ka ọ bịa tọpụ ụmụ Biafra na-abụ, ka ọ tọpụ anyị na-abụ Naịjirịa. Chukwu zitere anyị ya, ma ndị ilofe ajụziri ajụ, mana anyị nwekwa mmeri. Bapụrụ obere nwa na 2015 ụbọchị enyanụ, anyị wee bebe ife dị n'ime ya. Anyị wee jebe ụlọ ikpe, chọbazie ndị kpọrọ anyị na mkpọrọ, ndị gbochiri anyị ka anyị na-achọ. Anyị efuru ofe n'elu ụwa gị mmarụ, afa na-agbazi ọsọ, ọsọ na-achụzi fa, mana fa marọ na anyị nwe mmeri. N'ife ọbụla anyị tinyere aka n'ụwa na-agala anyị, ya ka anyị ji bụrụ ụmụ Chukwu okike abịa ma. Nnamdi Kanu ho, kedụzi ife mesilu mee? Odogwu na-egbula abụke abatago, obodobo nwa onye fara ife agbala nze na akpọ ya onikalata. Ife mena ya ole n'ụwa ka ibili, ị ga-adị ndụ ole n'ụwa fụ Biafra. His Majesty onye olu mkpana mụ na-ekwu, akụọ m ọfọ na nne ị ga-afụ ife ọma. Ebe isi na anyị ga-enwere onwe anyị, wee bulie n'isi, ife ọma ga-abụ nke yi. kpata ya lụ ka ọ gbalagba n'elu ụwa na nkịtị. Nnamdi Kanu ọhamadike Biafra ụkwalụ oge n'ụwa daa ife niile nwere okie oge zugo na anyị gana Biafra ụba n'anyị Biafra ụba na nsọ Biafra bụ nke anyị anyị Chukwu gwara anyị na nkwa aka na-ekwuzi ị na-akpọ m onye Naijiria bụ m onye Naija gwakene m mininu ọfụ Naijiria mana Biafra bụ obodo m ị na-achụzi mmanwụ nke ndị ọbụzi ndụ Biafra bụ obodo anyị ebe amụrụ anyị bụ na Biafra ebe anyị ga-anwụ bụ na Biafra nwata chọba nke ọbụla ajọ nwa nwata chọba nke ọbụla ajọ nwa mana mmejọ nke mụ n'ụwa nọ onye ọcha na-aba m afa n'ụwa nne na nna mụrụ m n'ụwa ga-aba m afa afa m bụ onye ka Chukwu Biafra bụ obodo anyị amarọ m ife bụ Naijiria ikuku ya lisi guo kedu ife ọ ga-eme n'iku Nnamdi Kanu ọhamadike Biafra ife mele anyị ole n'ụwa ka njikube egwu ọlụ ịlụlụ n'ụwa juru m anya isi kpọta Igbo n'ụlọ juru m anya
Face Reality Records.
You see, Baba Africa is a
Oh, you see?
How are you feeling?
Oh, my gosh, you want to know? Pop City.
Come on,
Yo, man, how far? If I talk the money, memo transfer. I only lay your give real chap. Nekenika one nigga sagari ka bastard. If Brazil bottom no man able panda. If I'm gonna lick it up with money spender. Mama get no village at Tasaki no one. I can't waka game message bego no nana. One kete, if I got them, Oboro Ebus of a motor neighbors Runa Park. Oboro Ebus of Bobos on the Buzeruni Simiri, Koronikorol, no matter how fast you are. I got a buro to Bujero, Pinibo, Mundo, Nakono, Bananiro. Wanga self.
I won't be one day you will get Yaka. I won't be one day you will get Yaka. I won't be one day you will get Yaka. I won't be one day you will get Yaka. That's all I am. Garola Yola, the testy passive, a genuine one again. On the novel, one never knows. On the novel, one never knows. Get it for them as they went. Only China could on the kitchen. On the young get the Fiji, cause you send out one the kitchen. No matter on your matching, overtake is allowed. Overtake is allowed.
I got a buro to Bujero, Pinibo, Mundo, Nakono, Bananiro. Wanga self.
I won't be one day you will get Yaka. I won't be one day you will get Yaka. I won't be one day you will get Yaka. I won't be one day you will get Yaka. That's all I am. Garola Yola, the testy passive, a genuine one again. On the novel, one never knows. On the novel. Talk about you, say you get the money. If you see me, you go pass me by. Omera one making a tap for that man. Get the figure melody.
Servant of such a heroic people. Today I stand before you to proclaim that our heroic youth in the various fronts have turned the tide of this war. They have smashed all enemy offensives directed at our destruction. In the air they have destroyed systematically the sinews of Nigeria's military might. The Biafran Air Force, small as it is, has stopped the entire oil flow of Nigeria from the mainland world. All protestations to the contrary by the British Broadcasting Corporation and Harold Wilson are mere wishful thinking. Our gallant boys are men tempered of steel. They have wrested the initiative from the Gawan enemy, and the Nigerian hordes are in trepidation and on the point of rout. The confusion of the enemy in the battlefields is only matched by the confusion in his home. Fight on, brave boys, fight on, heroes of our fatherland. Pursue the enemy, harass him, destroy the invader. March on, brave boys, now that victory is in sight. March on and hasten the disintegration of the enemy already set in motion.
Have also attempted to confuse African and indeed world opinion by propagating the despicable falsehood that our independence will be a precedent for separation in other African states. They have not bothered to ask themselves, for instance, what was the precedent for the alleged Biafran secession? The truth is that one secession does not necessarily lead to another. Throughout history, there has been a long list of empires that broke up into nations and federations which split into sovereign states. The Union of Great Britain and Ireland, the federations of Mali, Malaysia, West Indies, and Central Africa are recent examples of this. The disintegration occurred on account of unique local factors or to grave linguistic and religious differences. Biafra, however, remains a lesson to all countries of what could happen if they were to unleash a pogrom against a section of their own community. Amongst other spurious arguments trumped up by the Lagos clique is another that Nigeria is a single, interdependent economic unit and that its disintegration would disrupt established market trends and leave the separate economies so much poorer. It is true that as between the regions of the former Nigerian Federation, the economic pattern was one of interdependence, but this is equally true of all world economies which are complementary. But this should not make us to try and force unworkable political units on an unwilling people merely to create a large market. It is enough for both states to enter into trade and technical agreements. With more efficient planning, these separate units could even be made economically more prosperous. This also disproves the argument that Nigeria would not be viable without Biafra. Perhaps Nigeria may be poorer for it, and it should have occurred to its leaders to be more tolerant of people who they now admit constituted their wealth. But the rest of Nigeria has enough potentiality to remain a great and united African state, if only its leaders would show realism and imagination in harnessing their vast potential resources. The Nigerian leaders demonstrated their scorn for African opinion, which they are now trying desperately to cultivate by refusing to accept our calls for a peaceful resolution of our conflict through the good offices of many African states. Even when they had reluctantly agreed to the Organization for African Unity's desire to mediate, they are taking steps to frustrate their efforts. Biafra is no longer asking for anyone's mediation, but is willing at all times, as in the past, to resolve its conflict with Lagos at the conference table. The Organization of African Unity has shown itself insensitive to our suffering and incapable of resolving the crisis. A so-called mediation, which presumes that there is only one side to a dispute and can go to every length to appease that side, cannot be expected to be fair, objective, and just. The present conflict can now be resolved by individual states taking initiative by recognizing our right to existence and urging on Nigeria to abandon her war of aggression against an injured people. Having failed on all scores, the Nigerians have raised the bogey of a minority in Biafra being forced into independence against their wish. This again is far from the truth. Our people, irrespective of their ethnic grouping, have shown conclusively their commitment to and support of the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Biafra by their sacrifice in blood and contribution to the war effort. The decision to declare the sovereign and independent state of Biafra was a unanimous one made by the chiefs, leaders, and representatives of all communities in Biafra at the Consultative Assembly and Council of Chiefs and Elders. The so-called representatives of the minorities in Lagos have never had any popular backing, were defeated in elections in their own homes during the civilian era, and have since been denounced by their own people. Some of them, like Okoy Arikpo, are themselves guilty of intellectual dishonesty since they were party or sponsors of the constitutional proposals creating the present provinces of the Republic of Biafra in order to allay minority fears. Our people know enough of Lagos and can testify that the massacre of thousands of then Eastern Nigerians was irrespective of tribal affiliation. The bombing and other military brutalities since Biafran independence have followed the same pattern. Having suffered together, they are now united together in solidarity to fight on to victory to assure a place of honor and respect for themselves and their children. When the Lagos Vandals realized that they were doomed to failure, they, along with their foreign megaphones like the BBC, thought that they could win by pretending to be doing so. They are trying to make the world believe that they have taken Enugu, that the war is virtually ended, and that they are now engaged in the task of reconstruction. Nothing is further from the truth. Our valiant forces have continued to keep the enemy at the few border towns and zones they have captured by treachery. The gallant Biafran forces are now in control of most of Enugu and Bonny and are gradually wiping out the enemy invaders at Calabar. They have also re-entered Ogoja. The Nigerian troops will never forget the lesson of their Onitsha invasion, where thousands of their men were decimated. Our troops are fighting bravely and will continue to do so until victory is won. The Nigerians appear not to know that by unleashing a war of aggression, in addition to several past injuries, they have aroused a whole people against them. This is a people's war for freedom. Biafra has come to stay, and the fact of our independence is irreversible. Ours is a nation of 14 million people with various ethnic groupings, united together by past sufferings and present freedom, and nothing can shake our determination. Conscious of the justness of their cause, a nation of 14 million people with various ethnic groupings, united together by past sufferings and present freedom, and nothing can shake our determination. Conscious of the justness of their cause, a nation of 14 million people with various ethnic groupings, united together by past sufferings and present freedom, and nothing can shake our determination. Conscious of the justness of their cause, a nation of 14 million people with various ethnic groupings, united together by past sufferings and present freedom, and nothing can shake our determination. Conscious of the justness of their cause, ethnic groupings, united together by past sufferings and present freedom, and nothing can shake our determination. Conscious of the justness of their cause,
Get it online on your mobile. This is IPOB Community Radio. Radio Biafra, the first and the last.
This is my home, and I'm home to stay. Get ready, mama, prepare for your freedom. Freedom is coming tomorrow.
We will be the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, worldwide, under the leadership of Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. They bring una this informate. Everybody, including human being, minus human animals, clean your ear very well for this important informate. On 27th April 2022, IPOB they enforce the ban on Fulani cow and everything Fulani by fire by force. By this informate, no Ochin Nama and Nama go waka waka for any road or bush in Biafra land, or cow parade, or cross country, whatever it be, catwalk, fashion parade of Nama, jogging and exhibition, sightseeing or excursion, and no more entering of Fulani cows into Biafra land, either by direct or indirect, crook or crooked way again. From 27th of April 2022, any Fulani cow we see in Biafra land don't become a foreigner, illegal immigrant, an occupant, and a wanderer, and contraband. Our people wey dey into cow business, we don't switch over to our native cow and goat business, must have ranches, while every ranch must get their ranch identification, initial recognition for easy identification of ranch and location. With the coming of these Fulani caused cows and their Ochin Nama, they use the opportunity to flood their jihadist foot soldiers into our land, who occupy our bushes, rape and kill our mothers and sisters, destroy our farmlands, bans, desecrate our lands, pollute our drinking waters. My brother, which one I go count now? Therefore, to this Fulani Gwonkom in our land, we say enough is enough. Once again, we say enough is enough to our people using 3 trillion naira to chocolate only Fulani cost cow every year. When no they add any value to our land, only destroy everything. Destroy our economy, destroy our lifestyle, destroy everything about us. You know they understand. From 27th April 2022, any Fulani cow, either by cow jailbreak, misroad or misroad, go face the judgment of the spirits of the land. Make you help us and help yourself to stop this Fulani defilement of our land with their unclean, abominable and defiled cow. If they go destroy liquor for naught, say it no good. My brother, Fulani and their cow now the baddest resident evil in our land of Biafra, and we must checkmate them and stop them before they stop you. Bros, you know the shame? Say person wey hate you like shit, they give you food and you dey chop late. Abi no be poison and death to dey chop when Fulani cow never come. Wetin you dey eat as meat? Dem born you born Fulani cow or una be twins? Since you start dey chop late every Fulani caused animalistic animal, check your health and yourself. You don comot for human being, behave like animal, and your face and everything change, resemble Fulani cow for character, and you dey very disruptive against your people like the Fulani cows. From 27th of April, our special cow ban enforcement task force go do the needful, monitoring, supervising and documenting all ranches in Biafra land. Use your hand to comot monkey handle before it turns to human being. No forget, e go dey play and this one go dey show. No be only audio. Our word is our bond, no going back. This one no be witch hunt, but na to cleanse our land and set it in order. Now the indigenous people of Biafra, under the leadership of Apoketi Nwa of our land, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, they bring una this message.
Freedom is coming tomorrow.
Get it online on your mobile. This is IPOB Community Radio. Radio Biafra, the first and the last. I will be hosting Mazi, or rather Chief Chiwetalo Ago. Of course, you know him. He need not any introduction. He is a renowned Biafran elder. He is an actor, of course, and he is a Biafran by heart. And I would like to have an interaction, a chat with him this evening. And of course, it all depends on the system, but we trust and believe that everything will go according to plan this evening. So before I bring him in and before I continue without wasting any time, it is Radio Biafra. And of course, today is the 6th day of May 2022. The time standing here for 18:47 minutes. Of course, that should be around about 30 minutes to 7 p.m. here in Johannesburg. And of course, if you are listening from Motherland Biafra, it should be the same minutes, of course, pass or rather to 6 p.m. if I may put it that way. That's correct. It should be 17:47 in Biafra land. And let me break it down to a layman term, because this whole thing of 16 and 17 p.m. people don't understand it, because that is not the time zone we use in Biafra land. So if you are in Biafra land listening to me right now, it should be 13 minutes to 6 p.m. in the evening. Wherever you are listening to me for that matter, as long as you are on this planet Earth, as long as you are hearing me, as long as you are listening to IPOB Community Radio app, as long as you are listening or watching via Facebook Live, it doesn't matter whichever platform you want to listen to, Radio Biafra saturates the whole world. That I can assure you. If your time is saying 13 or 14 minutes to the top of the hour, irrespective of the time zone where you are, then of course you are listening to me live. Then of course we are direct. And in this so, Chukwu Kikabiama, he is presiding over the affairs of his people. Right, welcome back. It is Radio Biafra, and this is Hello Motherland. I welcome you if you are joining us right now. And of course, it is the time, and I will cross over to one and only Chief Chiwetalo Ago. Of course, I have him with me this evening to speak to Biafrans, and of course, to get to know him better, to get to know his, understanding of what we are doing and his take on what is happening currently in our land. Let me see if I have him. Mazi, good evening from here. Can you hear me? Good evening, sir.
I can hear you.
All right.
Good evening.
Good evening. So will it be fine if I address you as Chief Chiwetalago? Would that be fine?
7 titles of chieftaincy at the moment.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So, all right. When we summarize all this chieftaincy title, I think it will be fair enough to say Chief Chiwetalago. Is that correct?
Yes, you're correct.
All right. Thank you, sir. I am very privileged and very honored to be talking to you this evening. I must tell you, I've been watching you while I was still a child. Can you believe that?
Amen. Amen. It's very possible.
It is possible.
It's very possible.
It is. I think
very, very possible.
I think the first time I saw you on the screen was Ikuku. I think during the movie called Ikuku. That was many
very
years ago.
long time ago.
That was many years ago.
Very long time ago.
So
Peter Dachi was involved.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Because he played the Igwe.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah.
All right.
You're welcome.
Let's get straight into it. First of all, I would like you, even though you don't need any introduction, but I want you to tell our people, because the whole world is listening. It is not only in Biafra land, all over the world. They are tuned in. They want to hear from this great man, a man who has been around. I must tell you. Tell us briefly about yourself, and if possible, how your career took off. Please go ahead.
The career is going on wonderfully, according to the design by God, because I am the biggest actor in the whole world, veteran actor, by virtue of number of movies I've done since 1981 officially. I have done a 2003 productions, 2003, and the person taking second position has done just about 500.
Wow.
Look at 500, look at 2003. The difference is mightily clear. The biggest veteran actor in the whole world. The white actors of Hollywood are not interested in acting for a long time. What is their interest is getting the big money in dollars and investing. But here we don't earn big. We used to earn 1.5 million per movie, but it's no longer there now because they are complaining of marketing. That marketing does not even get up to 1 million copies. But we are managing. We don't have any choice. We don't have to run anywhere. Here is for us forever. So I am leading African actors in terms of the number of production done already. And the more jobs are coming from me because the difference between me and other actors is that my talent of comic relief. The writer gives me the script, then I recreate the way it will be good for information, education, and then comic relief, which is very important. Comic relief, that you are laughing while I'm talking.
Absolutely.
That is it. So I'm the biggest actor by the grace of God in the whole world as of today.
Unbelievable. All right. Now
yes.
there is something also to it. I want people to understand that this is a pure natural talent. You know, like you have like you have in overseas, people go to school, go to university to learn acting. But here is a man that I'm talking to who his own talent is raw, direct from Elohim. Tell us about this talent. Did you went to school for it, or it is something that you were born with? Please go ahead.
I traversed a lot of circles in education, even to former West Germany. Germany used to be one, but after the end of the Second World War, global authority, global powers divided to divide Germany into West and East. So I had an uncle, younger brother of my father, who schooled in West Germany. Then tried and brought some relations like me. So I schooled in München College, dramatic arts and everything theater. Then came to Nigeria around in the very early 80s to practice.
Wow.
Today, I have, in fact, at that early 80s, I am those who we are learning from. We formed a theater group called the Inspirers. It started functioning the time when Michael Jackson was hovering the whole world with his own talent of singing and dancing. It was in 1982 Michael Jackson came out with the Thriller, the one called the Thriller. And that was the time my theater group started functioning. I had my members even till today. So the two points combining is raw talent and then the thing education can do for you.
Awesome.
That's where I have an edge over every other actor we have in Africa, if not the whole world. So this my record is so intimidating that almost every week universities call me to give me one award or the other. The last award I got was from this university in Uturu Okigwe, Gregory University. That was the last award that made it about 85 or 6 of my awards. So institutions, individuals, they give this award to me on a regular basis. So God has made me the highest, yet I can't help to be humble, because if you're humble, you relate with God very well. Pomposity is not in my life.
Yes.
Rubbing shoulder is not in my life. Otherwise, I can't make it in serving God.
Absolutely.
So where I am today is interesting, is thrilling, is admirable, The whole world almost are in love with me, and I'm happy about it. And the way I relate with God has instilled strength, audacity, fears have been taken away off my life and my eyes. There's nothing that can make me fear in the world of today. Even if Goliath comes now, I'll tell him, Goliath, look at this seat, go and take your seat. I'm not the person that can intimidate. So you can imagine that no army general in Nigeria, even if you have the highest rank, in the military, you can't come and talk to me anyhow. I would rather lecture you on how you have misled Nigeria, misled the populace. Because Buhari came in as an elected civilian president. But what we are seeing now is militocracy, autocracy, intimidation, rough handling. The civilian atmosphere has been wiped away. We are now living at their mercy. Those who will be afraid of them. But like I said, I am not afraid of any of them. In fact, the time I was arrested and I went for their interrogation, the coordinator of the generals tried to be tried to go education-wise, but I put him down. We started quoting literature, Julius Caesar, et tu brute. He was quoting, I was quoting. But I et tu brute, when Brutus stabbed Julius Caesar from behind. Julius Caesar turned and saw it was his closest friend. He almost cried and said, et tu brute. So even you, Brutus. We started quoting, but I saw I had a hand.
Mazi, I must confess, talking about humility and humble. Most of your movie I watched in my own time was, of course, the ones you performed in Igbo language. Okay, then there was this conclusion among people that he can only.
Sorry. I want to correct one thing, one mistake people make all over the world.
Yes.
We are Igbos. We are not Igbos.
Yes.
We are Igbos. We are not Igbos. Igbo came about because at the end of the war, Igbo started going back to places like Lagos, where they were wonderful people. You hear from small girls and boys of Yoruba stock, Omoibo. So is that corruption
of the
that
yes.
permeated everywhere? Otherwise, we are not Igbo people. We are Igbo people.
Correct.
Igbo. One day I will give you the story of Eri in Israel that came here, landed in Aguleri. Because if Igbos gathered today, the person you give cola must be from Aguleri. Aguleri is one of the eldest from a Eri family. Well, that one is a talk of another day. But I'm trying to correct that pronunciation.
No, that is correct.
It's not Igbo.
It's a corruption. It's a corruption of the word. It's a corruption of the word.
Lagos.
Yes. Thank you very much. So what I was saying is people thought that Mazi Chiwetalago can only act on Igbo language movies. I even thought as much. As a matter of fact, when I was bringing you on, I asked Mazi Foreign, does he want to speak Igbo or English? But look at it, you are mesmerizing me with the English word. I never knew, honestly. Honestly, I never, and yet, when you act your movies, you barely use the English word. You stick to the script, you skip to your dialects. And that is humility. Because somebody else would have said, well, I can speak English. Why not mix it up? A little bit of Igbo there, a little bit of English there. My goodness me. What's your take on that? Go ahead.
I am in all. I'm in English. I have expertise. The Igbo language is something. Even a culture tradition. I am in all. Then combined with the humility. What humility does for a human being is that it doesn't let you go off the reckoning of God. God does not play with people who are humble. You can, just like you and your father, you can't get anything from your father unless you're humble.
Absolutely.
And if your 10 children and you are the most humble, your father will always prefer to interact with you before any other child of his. Humility is a mixer. Humility is an achiever. Even as two of us are talking, if you are not humble, I'm not humble, we cannot interact very well.
Absolutely.
Assuming you come with query instead of a question, humble question, I cannot answer you.
That's correct.
And I would like to impart that knowledge to people that the more humble we are, the better for this society created by God. Any leader, whether you're called president or prime minister, that has no humility, you cannot impart it to the people you are ruling. And if they are stubborn as you're stubborn, the society will inflame, would get flamed up. A leader who talks to his people with humility will always get support from them. But if you come and you push people here, push people there, there will be mistrust. In fact, you call for gathering, people will say, who are we gathering for? This man who is a pompous, who is not never having respect for his people. So there is need, whether we like it or not, to be humble. Because God, who is our creator, it's only humility we can use to interact with God. Not, I know this one past you, I'm taller than you, I'm bigger than you, and all that. So it's humility.
Thank you very much for that. If you are joining us right now, it is Radio Biafra, Hello Motherland. Of course, I am interacting with a renowned elder, a Biafran elder for that matter. He is indeed a legend when you talk about Nollywood and all the acting or whatever you have to say about it. He is a Biafran by heart. His name is Mazi, Chief Chiwetalo Ago. And please, if you are listening in all platforms, if you're on Facebook, I want you to share it, invite others, and of course, if you're listening via Radio Biafra app, you are welcome. All right, Mazi, let's get now into the real matter. We have gotten to know Chief Chiwetalago, especially I myself. I thought I know you, but now I know you even better. Let's talk Biafra. Let's talk Biafra here, Mazi. Very, very important. What is Biafra to you?
My association with Biafra started in 1968 or thereabout, because after the fall of Enugu to Nigerian soldiers, as refugees, we found our families in Olu area because Enugu had been evacuated. So in that Olu area, I was 12 years cooking for Biafra in Amiibo Hospital, Olu. What was our remuneration? The back of yam. We will peel yam, then they put a lot of flesh in the back. So when we got home to refugee camps, we used finger to remove the back. Little flesh will remain. In fact, my mother had a baby boy. We called at that time Biafran boy because it was the day Ojukwu declared Biafra that he was born. Job Ago.
Wow.
Job Ago. So we decided to be leaving that flesh cut off from back of yam for Job. We could eat anything like a lizard, this frog that is soft, grasshopper. We were eating all that, leaving that flesh of yam for Job. So at 12, I was working there for an Amiibo hospital. God carried us through until the end of the war. I see it now. So Biafra is not a new thing for me because I started working for them. We will be there. You see, wounded soldiers brought in the emergency room. We were not allowed to go to that area because that was meant for medical health experts. All we were doing was to cook for them, the wounded soldiers. and other health workers. So I am not a man of Biafra for today. It started from around 1968. Today I'm now working for Biafra in spirit. Because the problem in Nigeria that concerns we, people from the southeast, is that there is no equality, there is no equity. Everything shared at federal level is slanted to cheat the southeast. And I am people who think like me believe that it should not continue. I'm into more prayer than activity, activism. Was a prayer like, saved Israel from the hands of the soldiers, Pharaoh's soldiers, to the extent that when Moses led them, they hit the Red Sea, they lost hope. But God came at that time and they divided the Red Sea. Israelites passed. Also, Pharaoh's soldiers drowned. In the movie called The 10 Commandments, this was done by the whites. You see the marvel of God. You see the mystery of God. You see, the filmmaking I am in is forever. I'm not coming out from filmmaking until I expire in this world in the lifespan God has given me. 10 Commandments, anybody who watches it saw the love God had for the Israelites and saw the mystery of God. Because how can you divide the Red Sea into two? It's beyond human understanding, but it happened. So that way God helped Israelites is the way He's going to help the Igbos, the people of the southeast, if they sustain themselves in prayer. If He plays gun and plays prayer, I prefer prayer to use to conquer the Pharaohs. The Pharaohs are the people like Buhari, who hates equity, justice, and fairness. That's why he said few years ago, that we are a dot. Because he looked at the map and saw just the space of Biafra and said, they are a dot. We were not there when God created the world and gave us, he didn't even count what God gave us, because God gave us the biggest intelligence in Africa, ingenuity. That's why we were able to manufacture cars. Let Dr. Ezekiel Izu manufacture the one he called Z600 and called Abacha to sponsor it. Abacha agreed. What Ezekiel Izu wanted to do was to do mass production. And he told Abacha he was going to use up to 400 million naira. Today, what is 400 million naira?
Nothing.
If you look at the avalanche of vehicles bought by Abubakar Malami, Attorney General, it's nothing. They bought these cars, and I know from fraudulent means, because, sir, cannot be watching the people go hungry and they buy all these avalanche of vehicles because you want to be a governor in your state. So God will always listen to us until we get to Biafra.
Amen.
Biafra is nothing but mind that is having your own region where if you want to manufacture a plane, sponsorship will be there. You will be encouraged. You won't be stopped. You won't be sabotaged. Because that's what is happening now. If I tell you the fight innocent fought in order to get these vehicles on board, you won't believe. Because all the imports of motor parts business he was doing at the wharf, they were seizing the imports and selling them off and selling them. Is it giveaway? Just give away. The present Controller General Hamid Ali, he never allowed all his imports about the vehicles to scale through, So he got to a point when Innocent said, let me go to court. He went to court. At high court, he defeated them. At state courts, He defeated them. At High Court, at Supreme Court, he defeated them. And they went to kill his lawyer, one of the best lawyers we have around. They went to, in fact, they made an attempt to kill him, but God was with him. And God meant innocent to come into being. That's why he was, saving lives that were meant to be wasted. The Yoruba lawyer, a senior advocate, they employed. These names are there, that fought against the coming of innocent vehicles. But today I landed in Abuja with morning flight. I saw the big bus of innocent being used to service the airport business. Because in the airport, when you come out from your airplane, airport authority provides the vehicles that will carry passengers to arrival hall.
Yes.
So the impact by the average Igbo man is not hidden. It's known by everybody. The thing is that if other Nigerians love Nigeria like we love, like Nnamdi with the great Zik loved and fought for our independence, if they love Nigeria in the same vein, and encourage the Igbo man who has the ingenuity, then we will become El Dorado of Africa. Some don't like the fact of you're going to follow the Igbo man and learn from him.
Mazi, let me come in. I need to ask you something there. You're talking about the love the Igbo man have for Nigeria. Now I want to ask you something. What dividend has that love paid for an Igbo man and Biafra land? Has it paid any dividend, or are we giving, putting, and what do we get back in return? I want to find out from you what dividend. Or don't you think that is part of our problem, that we love Nigeria too much, more than the people who claim to own Nigeria? Please go ahead.
That was what Dr. Nnamdi was accused of, that they loved Nigeria too much to fight for Nigeria's independence. Yet, when they came to the point of sharing booty, I call it sharing booty, Tafawa Balewa took the prime ministership. They gave Zik just ceremonial presidency. Ceremonial presidency have no power, no power in the real sense of analyzing power. But he still managed because he didn't want Nigeria to scatter. But everybody behind Zik was seeing that as a misplaced priority, a foolish effort, and it eventually ended as the count that we were loving Nigeria. But if you don't, you have to show that love first. So when they're accused, they won't have the ground to say you hate Nigeria. And if anybody hates Nigeria, it is those who are profiting from it now financially. Because if you know the amount of thievery of our oil well, you pity this country. It has collapsed. It is gone. But those who are thinking like the great Zik used to think, they are believing in it. But my own wish, and I wish Almighty God will back me up, my own wish is for us to break into regions. Stay there, let's see what you can do from your region. Lumping us together does not help the matter, because if you lump us together, the suppression of, for example, if you want to enter university, the cutoff mark. Those in the north, they are given cheap cutoff marks, but those in the south, the whole of south, they are given high mark to achieve before you can be given admission in university. So if you look at the inequality in practice, that the 98% of employment by Aso-Rock is of northerners, whether qualified or not. 98%, and the rest, that small percentage remaining, is shared among the rest. Yet those who are at the echelon of power inside us, Europe, they are producing nothing. I'm giving you an innocent view from my heart.
Absolutely.
You know, he who pays the piper, the case the tune. Dictation is coming from the north when it should be from other sources. You know, if you're not, like, for example, if you're not, having this high educational quality, you know, I don't know why they should place you on top of somebody who has. The inequality is unfairness. It's lacking justice. But we cannot use force. We don't have to use force. Prayer and bringing God to you can defeat somebody even has machine gun. You know, we have to be patient with God until He gives us this Biafra, because Biafra is important to us.
Absolutely.
What is happening today is appalling. People are asking, when will the tenure of Buhari come to an end? So other minds who have been giving him cute will now proliferate and then meet at places like Asoro to fashion out a new Nigeria. If a new Nigeria is not possible, then we can go to regions. If I have my freedom to manufacture keke with air condition, and I don't have a blockade, it becomes a new atmosphere, new environment. Igbo man has manufactured keke with air condition in Aba. Igbo man, one young engineer in Ebonyi State, manufactured solar-powered keke, waiting for the governor, David Umahi, to sponsor for mass production. But it didn't take long. This happened during the peak of COVID, you know. But what is now taking the time of David Umahi is the presidency is targeting because of his relationship with President Buhari. You know, so I don't know if it affected that idea of mass producing keke with solar power. You know, these are things we refer to the Igbo man to.
All right.
Ingenuity.
All right, Mazi,
Yeah.
I want to say something here, and I want to get your view on it. Now, I don't know, maybe we are forgetting one thing here, that we fought a civil war. And now, it is true that it was declared no victor, no vanquish. But in the minds of a Northerner...
That was a deceit.
Exactly.
That was a deceit.
Exactly. In the minds of a Northerner, we are slaves. We are defeated people. And that is what informs what is currently playing out in the political arena, in the economical arena. Now, my question is, how long are we going to continue to pray for Nigeria to be good, knowing that Nigeria does not belong to us? Wouldn't it be possible for us to start making a head road like we are doing now, agitating for Biafra, to restore our own place, Nkanye Bonkanye, a place we can call home and develop at our own pace, than trying to force ourselves to Nigeria? And after you've answered this thing, then I will go into this whole thing of Igbo presidency and where it's taking us now. Please go ahead and give me your perspective on what I've just alluded now with regards to the whole victor, no vanquish rubbish. Please go ahead.
Something you mentioned earlier, that is, I don't believe that anybody should stop prayer in your life. Don't get tired. Some people were thinking along this line in Israel in those days. But fighting is not alternative. Having all the weapons of war is not the best alternative. If you're patient with God, He'll make us like Israel of today. Israel of today was nowhere when they were in Egypt, even shortly after they came out. But today, that patience is paying Israel, because Israel is the chief supplier of drone to America. You can imagine small Israel manufacturing drones serving the purpose America wants, the purpose Britain wants, the Britain all world, the all powers. Israel is manufacturing the weapon they can't get elsewhere, serving their purpose. So I pray. My prayer has no end. You can't expect me, Chiwatalo, in my house to buy or manufacture a gun I can use to fight enemies like this is a present government. It's only prayer. I want you to know what prayers can do. It was prayer that made David to defeat Goliath. It wasn't that catapult he fired on Goliath. The prayer that made God look his way and begin to answer his prayers. And that patience, the good thing about it is that today nobody can venture, nobody can try to come and anger Israel. No Arab country can bear Israel. Israel can in their country fish out a scientist of Arab background and send missile to get you in Arab country inside your bedroom. That's the thing people who are patient with God can achieve, can gain, So God can give it to us if He realizes that we are always beckoning Him, knocking at His door, not going elsewhere, not doing anything out of anger. He can give such things to us because I believe strongest that we will get Biafra, but the Biafra that has a springboard or basis of peace to rule, but not Biafra who will say, let me go and fire Sorok. No. Those things won't help us. So right. Let's continue prayer. Don't get tired praying.
Of course.
Don't get tired praying. No.
Of course, absolutely. All right. Now let's talk Igbo presidency. There has been this whole noise about Igbo presidency. It's our turn, and the North has made it clear that they are not interested. What do you think our people should do instead of, for me, I look at it as, people making nuisance of themselves in the sense that everybody wants Igbo presidency. The whole governors in the name of Igbo presidency are compromising, allowing the soldiers to come in to kill our youth just to be on a good book with the caliphate. But now, as you can see, the whole Igbo presidency thing is becoming a sham. As a matter of fact, a fraud. What is your take on this whole issue of Igbo presidency?
I want us to continue trying our best in the prayer I talked about. A time will come. See, God is a wonderful God. Do you recall an army general from the north who said over his dead body will Igbo get Biafra? Atahiru. He died in a plane crash. Is it not true?
Absolutely.
He said over his dead body will Igbos get Biafra. He flew the plane. He died with some people of his like minds. Did you destroy the plane? It was God. It was God to prove a point that so God did that one for us to show that He is still with us. And He will continue to be with us. Though it is good that we are seeing many people jostling for Igbo presidency, people of Igbo extraction. The opposite would have been disastrous and a pity. That we would have wished for other tribes people to come and fight, struggle for the presidency. The way they are many, I like it. It's interesting. It shows that we are not sleeping. Let's watch what God will do for us from prayers. It's not a physical thing. P2B is there. My friend from Ebonyi, Pius Anyim, who was former Senate president, is there. Many others are there. As many as we are, the better for us. Some people from outside our tribe, like some northerners, they are reducing. They are seeing now that the woman is not sleeping. Now, whether they support us or they support somebody who is not with us does not matter. What is interesting is that the Igbos are use the phrase making the necessary noise. They didn't make that necessary noise. Keep the atmosphere charged to tell people that we are interested in it today or tomorrow or whenever. You know, if some people in the north want to prove to us that we can't get it, that we don't deserve it, we leave all that one for God to decide.
All right.
But let them keep the tempo.
Thank you very much for that, Mazi. Thank you very much. And of course, if you are joining me as we are almost trying to wrap up with this interview, I want you, of course, to know that I'm speaking to our elder. Of course, he is a veteran, a legend in his own right. Chief Chiwatala Ago, he is with me this evening. All right, we continue. Mazi, let's talk about Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. I'm sure you are aware that he has been incarcerated, abducted, of course, from Kenya and rendiated back to the Zuko, Nigeria. Of course, we know that extraordinary rendition is a crime against humanity. He is currently facing charges that are trumped up, charges that cannot be substantiated before Abuja High Court. What is your take on Mazi Nnamdi Kanu? Please go ahead.
I've told the world about 3 times in interviews that the room I was put when I was detained was a ground floor while Nnamdi was on top of me. Nnamdi was in the room on top of my own room. I told the world and they know. You know, so the incarceration is nothing but inhumanity to man, inhumanity to our tribe. You know, Buhari cannot say, look at what Nnamdi did him or did against him, because how did we begin to hear about Nnamdi? Because Buhari failed to do his security work. When the herdsmen were coming to the east, entering our farms, seizing farms, raping our mamas, taking ransom, and people like Nnamdi could not continue watching. So he went into action. And when he went into action, it was in Anibo, Alaibo. He didn't go to North. He didn't go to Yoruba land. He didn't go outside the Southeast. He just went to save these people who were being treated like slaves. That was the only crime he committed against Buhari. So the question today is, Buhari, why are you still holding Nnamdi? His father died, his mother died in the course of Nigerian soldier invasion of Afara homeland of Nnamdi. The 2 were lost. Look at such a sacrifice. Yet he didn't say, I surrender. Okay, I follow you now since I couldn't wrestle with you. The two human beings were lost. Yet Nnamdi is still struggling. I am still struggling. You are still struggling. Buhari, which day will you temper justice with mercy? What is this man taking your position in Asura? Is he acquiring firepower that is bigger than you, the Nigerian government? It's not. He's a simple human being, a humane human being who came out to save his people against the machinations of those of you in power. So release him. Let him come out from there. You want to treat him like they treated Nelson Mandela, keeping him everlasting in detention? The next 5 years, you must have taken away everything about the Jewish, the good ingredients about Nnamdi Kanu. This is the time to get him out there. Let him go and face his today and his future. Because you, the government, you've taken away everything very important in humanity. So keeping him longer is a placing you in a judgment where God will hate you, hate your background, hate your generations. Bring him out now. If you're human, if you have ever tested anything like justice, like fairness, I hate the fact that is that because of him we created sit at home on Mondays. So you are happy that even the economy is being affected because this is a weekly sit at home. The sit at home done by the Igbos to show sympathy with our brother, that we can continue to enjoy a don while it's kept there in frustration, in captivity. You understand?
All right.
So we do what we can do, but the ones we cannot do, we hand over to God.
All right. Before I let you go, I need to ask you maybe one or more two questions. Tell me, insecurity in Biafra land, the insecurity in the southeast, what is your take on that? And what do you think that is a recipe for disaster that informs the slaughtering, the killing of our youth at night by the Nigerian military? What is your view regarding the insecurity in the southeast as well as in
that? Is that God is at work. God is at work.
Amen.
This thing continue to a point that some people got worried. But if you look at what has happened in the north so far, you know that we have a fair God, a God who knows what is justice. Because things started to happen in the north. That even a train carrying passengers were bombed by who? Not Southeasterners, but by northern bandits. Northern bandits who have now picked up arms against the presidency. You know, so it's like saying, that's what is happening today. And the bloodshed in the north by their own people, bandits who how they are get access to these weapons, you and I may not know, but they are out against their north, their own north, not our east. They don't want to leave the scene. This is, you know, where this thing started, this bandit problem in the north. They were brought in to cause chaos if Jonathan was allowed to continue after the election. So the other side had to bring people who will scatter everybody if Jonathan tried to stay. Those people were being owed at a point because it was at a price that they were brought from Northern African countries. You know, now they refused to go and entered and captured our funds because they were being owed. You know, those in the central bank knew when money was given to them and when the full payment was not implemented. Luckily, is the reason why we are still seeing them today. And you know, it's backlash, it's boomerang. That they refused to go because those authorities who brought them did not finish payment. What happened to that balance of payment? You know, God has his ways of doing things. So God is not happy with the authorities who brought this crisis and who cannot cure the crisis now. More things are expected to happen in the north because everybody has lost control. You know, I'm praying that this remaining small period for the presidency is done peacefully so that another person who is coming there can be somebody sent by God, not from those who believe that they allow the man his children will be converted to slavery or whatever. It's like that. If you can manage Nigeria united, leave every tribe to go. Every tribe is big enough to form more than a nation. European countries are not even as big as Southeast or Southwest and so on and so forth. So allow us to go feed themselves the next 1,000 years. You know, I mentioned things manufactured by Igbos so far. If you go to University of Nnamdi University and other southeastern universities, you see young boys of 22, 23, 24 manufacturing things complex as aeroplane. All they need to do is support from government tentacles to even make these planes put in a commercial there. But that space has to be there. The space that is not there is what we are going to pray for. Let's have such space, so we can feed Nigeria, even scientifically. I am a contributor to the big name we have in Igbo land. Nollywood is about. If you look at the stories and the movies, they're about the life we live in not only Southeast but Nigeria as a whole. I was the person, Ken is a company that started at Ijesha. Then so much money came. The man, now went to Okota, bought parcels of land, built many things. At the time, generator 1 million naira was there. In fact, the kind of generator he used, the gains from living bondage and bought, can be costing about 100 up to 1 billion naira today. Wow. But he was able to buy it because he made so much money from living bondage. So from there, the name of the Igbo man has refused to that. In fact, it's growing bigger and bigger because Nollywood is not only about Africa, it's about the whole world. Yet it was the creation of the average Igbo man, I inclusive. Like I told you, I conducted the audition that brought all these people on behalf of the man. How they did discover me? Because I was doing one NTA drama where I was infusing Igbo language in my act. He said, this man who is infusing in Igbo language must know about a lot about Igbo people. And I gathered them. And today, see, Yoruba was there in film before us. But we came and overran everybody. Now our children are eating from it, employers of labor from it, even manufacturing small cameras. We are wonderful. We are God's making. And we will continue to be God's making. We can feed ourselves as against those who depend on oil. The North depends on oil. Yoruba depends on oil. Niger Delta, oil. But Igbos can do without oil. Igbos can create and manufacture. They are very ingenious. Absolutely. I still recall that we at the war, we manufactured our own oil from palm kernel oil that we used to drive whatever vehicle. We are independent by nature, but other tribes are still dependent on this one oil. Leave us to go. Leave us to in our southeast to do what God wants us to do. To feed us, to feed our nation, to feed everybody. We went to Ghana to export the advent of Nollywood. Ghana became something else. We went to Kenya. We went to many African countries to create all this. Nobody helped us from abroad. In fact, the average white man will naturally be afraid of us because if we begin to manufacture everything that can be ingenious to us, then they will stop coming to import into this country what they are manufacturing. That one is one fear by some foreigners. But what will be. God has taken us to where He will continue to take us until the whole world will see us as made by God directly.
Mazi,
Israel I talked about.
Yes, go ahead. Finish up, and then I want to say something. Yes, finish up. Go ahead.
Israel that is now so independent that they can feed the world powers. We can replicate such a thing. We can. We are powerful people by ingenuity, by our nature. Let me end it here.
Yes, Mazi, thank you very much. You see, when you are talking about the ingenuity of an Igbo man, the bless that God has given to an Igbo man, I remembered while I was in Onitsha, I went to learn trade, Igbo boy, So, Kenneth Okonkwo just finished a University of Nsukka, and he came to our house. He came to our house to work for my boss. We lived in Orifte Street, MCC. So when he lived there, he was so miserable. You know, a young man who came out from the university, and he said to my boss, "I want to go to Lagos." And we were asking Kenneth, "What are you going to do in Lagos?" He said he wants to go and act movie. The next thing we know, Kenneth left our home. Kenneth went to Lagos. Before you know it, Living in Bondage was born. That is how Kenneth started. We lived in the same house in Onitsha before he went to Lagos. So amazing, the kind of blessing God has given to us as a people.
He met me in Lagos when we were working for NTA. Now, when Chief Kenneth Nnamdi, the owner of Neck Video Links, called me to help him out, Kenneth Okonkwo I had met in Ripple Circles. Let me know his address. So when I was calling people for audition, I now went to where he was squatting. He was squatting under his elder brother, number 49 Emodi Street, Uludia Papa. That's where I went to invite him to come for audition of Living in Bondage. KOK, I fetched him from Mafoluku, Oshodi, to come and join in the audition of Living in Bondage. There are many.
Unbelievable.
So these are routes God took us through to bring forth what we're enjoying today. You can see Netflix at a point got interested in Nollywood. World international filmmakers got interested in Nollywood, our creation. You see it now. God's hand is in all these things and will not continue until we reach the sky.
Absolutely.
And pass even the sky.
Absolutely.
That's the truth.
Thank you very much. And of course, if you are listening, anywhere you are listening, any part of the world, this is Chief Chiwetalo Ago. And of course, before I let him go, I feel like keeping him here the whole night. But of course, he's a busy man. He's got things to do. Tell me, Mazi, about the rising sun before I let you go. The rising sun. What is it about the rising sun that scares away our enemies? Please go ahead.
Rising sun is now about the creation of God. Look at the way it happened. I finished this movie in Asaba. Then I was driving to Enugu, but at Onitsha, I branched to drop somebody. People gathered. Igbos gathered at Otobi Weka. I saw hunger on their faces. So I decided to come down my vehicle, started buying bread. I didn't know when I bought bread worth 10,000 naira. When these, I don't want to castigate them. When these soldiers came about, from fillers I started hearing later, somebody in APC who had a lot of squabbles to settle with the PDP thought that people gathering behind me were people who were going to vote for PDP when the time came. So he sent these soldiers. They came. You saw the God that I had in me on that particular day and that moment. That I didn't know why should I run for ordinary soldier? You're unfortunate in our system because you're not educated, yet you are ruling us. It's rule, not leadership. You know, they came, they said, enter their vehicle. I said, what is my offense? Tell me the area of the Constitution I had violated for you to say, enter your car. I'm not going anywhere. So when they wanted to use force, I forced myself to sit on the upper worker room. But wisdom told, because I started hearing gunshots. My wisdom told me, since you have no skeleton in your cupboard, just follow them. I followed them. Then at Army Barracks, I met some Army generals who thought I was too much for their handling. Then they brought a one jeep, black jeep. They took me to Enugu, the 82 Division headquarters. They took me there. Even what to tell their organs was difficult. So it took them time to bring me out from the vehicle. They took me upstairs, organized a panel to ask me questions. The panel came, 3 Army generals. I brought a camera, brought my separate seats, and brought seats for themselves. The questions began, but each one I answered, and the intelligence I applied there frightened them. they saw the thing as a difficult role. But my knowledge of arts and literature, I was quoting, met the chief investigator to try to quote with me. I quoted Julius Caesar. He was trying to quote Julius Caesar. I pitied him. But at the end of the day, they gave me a wonderful air-conditioned room and brought an army general woman to cook for me. But they have seen in me a future leader, that where they were placing me was misgiven. They brought the finest in their kitchen. They say I was treated like a general, you know. So by night, the whole community, Nigeria and abroad, got shaken. You know, even their own colleagues were asking them, why this man? What has this man done to you people? You know, so in the morning, they prepared a presidential exit for me. You know, the rest is history now, because you people were given the showcase of what happened eventually.
Absolutely.
But what the statement I will make is that nobody will intimidate you if you don't get intimidated.
Yes.
In Nigeria, we are the brainest. We are the most educated. Dr. Nnamdi Azikiwe of Great Africa, when he came from abroad, he established this West African pilot chains of newspaper, and lectures began. He began to enlighten them. So here we are today. We are still the greatest in Africa. Nobody can challenge us.
Absolutely. All right.
The advocacy from me is that don't leave your prayer.
I've learned that today.
Yes,
listen, before I let you go, I want to pick your brain to see how much you can remember. I know you've acted so many movies that you've lost counting, but I want to see
2,000. No. See, yes. I can never lose count of number of movies. Everything I've said in movie, I can never lose count of them. I told you as we are beginning that I have done 2003 productions, while my colleagues are around 500.
All right, let's put it to test. I want to ask you something. In which movie did you say Igwe Jebegonga?
Igwe Jenga was taboo. Igwe Jenga, nobody it couldn't be in
No, hold on.
Igwe Jenga was taboo.
Oprobos.
Do I recapture Igwe Jenga?
Remember,
that was taboo.
Remember, there's a place Bob Manuel Udoku. You guys were in the House of the King.
Bob Manuel was one of the lawyers.
Yes.
One of the lawyers for Adeze.
All right.
Bob Manuel and Kenneth Okonkwo, they were lawyers in the same university with Adeze.
All right.
So Igwe said, my daughter, don't marry this man. He's Osu.
All right.
You know, that was taboo.
All right.
Me, I can't forget.
All right.
Okay.
Even me that is asking, I'm beginning to suspect myself whether I still remember.
That's it.
All right. Before you go, I want your final word, your parting shot to our people. What do you have to tell Biafran youth, especially Biafran youth, because they are the ones.
Let them continue to be.
Let's go ahead.
In their hearts. Let them continue to be patriotic to Biafra. Biafra is a good thing. Biafra is a threshold you can use to enter Uhuru, to enter heaven on earth. Let them continue to be steadfast. Let them not go negative, evil, and so on and so forth. Yeah.
All right. That is beautiful. Thank you so much, sir. I really appreciate. And I'm still going to bring you on to tell me about Eri, the arrival of the Igbo Israel extraction. We are going to have a date on that one because I would like you to educate us on that. I will love that.
Okay.
Thank you so much, sir.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. And of course, that was Chief Chiwetalo Ago. My goodness me. I mean, this is a part of him that I don't know about. I must tell you, I must confess, I don't know he can speak English so good because growing up, I've been watching him, of course, acting in all those local and indigenous movies. That is what I know. Of course, he has started even before before I started watching him. But I never knew that the man is also educated and well endowed and well intellectual. And of course, this is Biafra. This is the kind of product we produce as Biafrans. We are determined and we are resilient and we are willing to make means out of any given opportunity. As I was telling you, Kenneth Okonkwo, of course, of the living in bondage. We live together in the same place in Onitsha. When I was doing Boy, he finished in University of Nsukka and he came and joined us where we lived in Waliwo. I think it's Waliwo. That's MCC. That's what they call it. That's where we live together. From there, he went to Lagos, and the rest is history. And this is how our people are making it all over the world. But of course, if we don't get Biafra, all those industrialization, all those industriousness, all those ibambo will not amount to anything. And we may not have anything left for our children to enjoy or to remember us for. So restoring Biafra, of course, will be the way to go. Thank you, Mazi. Chief Chiwatalago, you have spoken nobles. And of course, Biafrans welcome that, and Biafrans appreciate you this evening. My name is Mazi Kechukwonoha. Unfortunately or fortunately, this is where we are going to leave it. I must tell you, because our time is up. And next time I will bring him back. He wants to tell us about the arrival of Eri, and that is important for us to hear that out. But of course, for now, we are going to say a goodbye, but of course, not goodbye indeed, because we will be back. It is, instead of goodbye, it means see you later. From me, from here, it is God bless Biafra. God bless Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, and God bless all the people of goodwill and lovers of freedom. From me, from here, it is goodbye.
Before you, proud to be a servant of such a heroic people. Today I stand before you to proclaim that our heroic youth in the various fronts have turned the tide of this war. They have smashed all enemy offensives directed at our destruction. In the air, they have destroyed systematically the sinews of Nigeria's military might. The Biafran Air Force, small as it is, has stopped the entire oil flow of Nigeria from the mainland world. All protestations to the contrary by the British Broadcasting Corporation and Harold Wilson are mere wishful thinking. Our gallant boys are men tempered of steel. They have wrested the initiative from the Gawan enemy, and the Nigerian hordes are in trepidation and on the point of rout. The confusion of the enemy in the battlefields is only matched by the confusion in his home. Fight on, brave boys, fight on, heroes of our fatherland. Pursue the enemy, harass him, destroy the invader. March on, brave boys, now that victory is in sight. March on and hasten the disintegration of the enemy already set in motion. March on, young
fellow Biafrans. On the occasion of your rally to demonstrate your solidarity with the struggles of your kith and kin back home, I send to you all fraternal greetings. As one who has been entrusted with the onerous responsibilities of guiding our young republic through these difficult times, I must confess that it is always a source of deep pleasure and encouragement to me to receive assurances of the support of the people and their continuing determination to persevere until complete victory is achieved. It is, therefore, with feelings of unbounded pleasure and deep appreciation that I salute this august gathering. You are all aware that for over 4 months now, Nigeria has been waging a war of aggression to destroy Biafra and her people. This invasion by Nigerian hordes was mounted because the people of the former eastern region of Nigeria were forced on May the 30th, 1967, to declare themselves the independent state of Biafra in order to assure the security of their lives and property. As you are aware, the people of the former eastern region of Nigeria had believed, as if it were an article of faith, in the concept of a united Nigeria. No section of the then Federation of Nigeria had worked as assiduously for the attainment of this ideal as did Eastern Nigeria and her people. No section had made as many and varied positive contributions towards the realization of true unity. Having over the years spearheaded the movement for closer union, having demonstrated our faith in Nigeria in concrete terms by allowing our sons and daughters to sojourn in other parts of the country, thereby contributing tremendously to the development of such areas to the neglect of our own, it was a hard decision for us to take to opt out of a federation in which we had invested so much. But we had no real choice. Over the years, our erstwhile compatriots had made it clear in unmistakable terms that they did not want us in the Federation. Since the 1950s, our people were expropriated and discriminated against in parts of Nigeria other than their own. Furthermore, the experience of the 3 harrowing waves of remorseless genocide in 1945, 1953, and especially in 1966, involving a total of nearly 40,000 dead and countless others maimed or destitute, provided an object lesson which could not but be taken seriously. Self-preservation is probably the strongest human instinct, and it is this that has compelled the harassed and persecuted people of eastern Nigeria to seek refuge in their own home and amongst their kindred. As a proverb of one of our Biafran languages has it, a man who is rejected by others cannot reject himself. The inordinate ambition of the Hausa-Fulani oligarchy to continue to dominate the whole of what was formerly the Federation of Nigeria, the unrealistic desire to acquire the wealth and resources of Biafra while rejecting their people, the mad and homicidal desire to exterminate from the face of the earth 14 million Biafrans drove Gawan and his clique towards unleashing a costly war to attain the unattainable, the subjugation of this young but promising republic. Even with the vast resources of the former Federation of Nigeria with which to prosecute the war, even with the active collaboration of those international opportunists, Britain and the Soviet Union, an unholy alliance of vested interests, even with the attempt to subvert our government by suborning some of our highly placed military and civilian personnel, an attempt which was foiled at the nick of time, Gawan has failed to make good his boast to crush Biafra. A campaign which he bragged would only take 48 hours to accomplish has now dragged on for almost 5 months and will drag on for as long as it takes Gawan and his clique, both Nigerian and others, to realize that nothing can shake the will or crush the spirit of a determined people. If Gawan's military campaign has achieved anything, it is only a confirmation of the fact that Biafrans have nothing to expect but destruction from the hands of their erstwhile Nigerian compatriots. In the few border towns which fell into the hands of the Nigerian forces, Biafrans were pillaged and what could not be stolen was destroyed, while the men were shot and tortured and the women defiled. Even foreign correspondents have testified to the massive killings of people of Biafran origin and a particular ethnic grouping in the Republic of Benin when that young republic fell into the hands of the Nigerians as a result of treachery. Instead of accepting the fact and the truth which they know, that they forced the people of the former eastern region out of the Federation, the Nigerian aggressors have been attempting to dupe the world by claiming that we seceded in order to keep our oil wealth to ourselves. You all know that in spite of our oil and other resources, the former eastern Nigerians were always the greatest advocates of unity. General Ironsi, himself an Easterner, was murdered by the northern Nigerians because of his determination to unify the country. For a people who have made such great sacrifices and abandoned their most valuable investments in Nigeria in quest for safety, this is the unkindest thing to say. No, it is the Nigerian leaders themselves who are in fact guilty of what they accuse us of, and have shown beyond doubt that they are only interested in having our resources and not our people. Have also attempted to confuse African and indeed world opinion by propagating the despicable falsehood that our independence will be a precedent for separation in other African states. They have not bothered to ask themselves, for instance, what was the precedent for the alleged Biafran secession? The truth is that one secession does not necessarily lead to another. Throughout history, there has been a long list of empires that broke up into nations and federations which split into sovereign states. The Union of Great Britain and Ireland, the federations of Mali, Malaysia, West Indies, and Central Africa are recent examples of this. The disintegration occurred on account of unique local factors or to grave linguistic and religious differences. Biafra, however, remains a lesson to all countries of what could happen if they were to unleash a pogrom against a section of their own community. Amongst other spurious arguments trumped up by the Lagos clique is another that Nigeria is a single, interdependent economic unit and that its disintegration would disrupt established market trends and leave the separate economies so much poorer. It is true that as between the regions of the former Nigerian Federation, the economic pattern was one of interdependence, but this is equally true of all world economies which are complementary. But this should not make us to try and force unworkable political units on an unwilling people merely to create a large market. It is enough for both states to enter into trade and technical agreements. With more efficient planning, these separate units could even be made economically more prosperous. This also disproves the argument that Nigeria would not be viable without Biafra. Perhaps Nigeria may be poorer for it, and it should have occurred to its leaders to be more tolerant of people who they now admit constituted their wealth. But the rest of Nigeria has enough potentiality to remain a great and united African state, if only its leaders would show realism and imagination in harnessing their vast potential resources. The Nigerian leaders demonstrated their scorn for African opinion, which they are now trying desperately to cultivate by refusing to accept our calls for a peaceful resolution of our conflict through the good offices of many African states. Even when they had reluctantly agreed to the Organization for African Unity's desire to mediate, they are taking steps to frustrate their efforts. Biafra is no longer asking for anyone's mediation, but is willing at all times, as in the past, to resolve its conflict with Lagos at the conference table. The Organization of African Unity has shown itself insensitive to our suffering and incapable of resolving the crisis. A so-called mediation, which presumes that there is only one side to a dispute and can go to every length to appease that side, cannot be expected to be fair, objective, and just. The present conflict can now be resolved by individual states taking initiative by recognizing our right to existence and urging on Nigeria to abandon her war of aggression against an injured people. Having failed on all scores, the Nigerians have raised the bogey of a minority in Biafra being forced into independence against their wish. This again is far from the truth. Our people, irrespective of their ethnic grouping, have shown conclusively their commitment to and support of the territorial integrity and sovereignty of Biafra by their sacrifice in blood and contribution to the war effort. The decision to declare the sovereign and independent state of Biafra was a unanimous one made by the chiefs, leaders, and representatives of all communities in Biafra at the Consultative Assembly and Council of Chiefs and Elders. The so-called representatives of the minorities in Lagos have never had any popular backing, were defeated in elections in their own homes during the civilian era, and have since been denounced by their own people. Some of them, like Okoye Arikpo, are themselves guilty of intellectual dishonesty since they were party or sponsors of the constitutional proposals creating the present provinces of the Republic of Biafra in order to allay minority fears. Our people know enough of Lagos and can testify that the massacre of thousands of then Eastern Nigerians was irrespective of tribal affiliation. The bombing and other military brutalities since Biafran independence have followed the same pattern. Having suffered together, they are now united together in solidarity to fight on to victory to assure a place of honor and respect for themselves and their children. When the Lagos Vandals realized that they were doomed to failure, they, along with their foreign megaphones like the BBC, thought that they could win by pretending to be doing so. They are trying to make the world believe that they have taken Enugu, that the war is virtually ended, and that they are now engaged in the task of reconstruction. Nothing is further from the truth. Our valiant forces have continued to keep the enemy at the few border towns and zones they have captured by treachery. The gallant Biafran forces are now in control of most of Enugu and Bonny and are gradually wiping out the enemy invaders at Calabar. They have also re-entered Ogoja. The Nigerian troops will never forget the lesson of their Onitsha invasion, where thousands of their men were decimated. Our troops are fighting bravely and will continue to do so until victory is won. The Nigerians appear not to know that by unleashing a war of aggression, in addition to several past injuries, they have aroused a whole people against them. This is a people's war for freedom. Biafra has come to stay, and the fact of our independence is irreversible. Ours is a nation of 14 million people with various ethnic groupings, united together by past sufferings and present freedom, and nothing can shake our determination. Conscious of the justness of their cause, and with God on our side, our people are determined to fight to the last man, confident of eventual success. May God bless you all, fellow Biafrans, and keep and protect Biafra.
Wonderful people, great Biafrans, wherever you are. On the face of this very planet, we welcome you to another edition, very exciting edition, expository, exciting, revealing, and informative version of our live presentation this very evening, the evening of the 30th of August in the year of our Most High Elohim Chukwu 2020. The time now is 3 minutes past 7 p.m. in the blessed land of Biafra, and I presume the same number of minutes past the top of the hour. Regardless of where you are domiciled around the world, we are very proud to say that we are not only the largest mass movement on the face of this very earth, but also the largest indigenous broadcaster of its kind anywhere on the face of this planet, because people are listening right across the length and breadth of every time zone of this very earth. We are immense, we are huge, we are relentless, we are unstoppable, we are undiminishable, we are unbribable. We are not going to relent. We are not going to stutter. We are not going to reverse. Our movement is onwards and ahead until we get to our final destination, which is the unquestionable and undiluted sovereignty of the Republic of Biafra. That is why we are here. That is why we exist. And that is why we must do what we can to make sure that the whole world understands the need for what we are doing and be able to partake and participate in it. We are coming to you live via my Facebook page, the official one, please, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu. We are, even more importantly, because I now notice that a lot of people are listening via our app, IPOB Community Radio app is live. And I want everybody to download it on their device because it is low data usage. Very, very low data. It is radio. Therefore, the cost of data is very, very minimal. Very, very insignificant. Everybody must download it and be able to listen to us via that very platform. It is IPOB Community Radio. It is the fastest download on Android and also on iOS. It is everywhere and people are listening, as I said earlier, in nearly 154 countries around the world. People are listening to us and they have joined us this very evening. It could be your morning, it could be your afternoon, it could be your midnight. Therefore, I would say good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and good night to some of you. There is no other like us. We are resolute, we are determined, we are relentless. Relentless in our pursuit of that which is right before God in heaven and man on this very earth. If you don't have your pen and paper, believe you me, there is no need for you to listen to this broadcast this very evening. It is going to be very deep and incisive. It is the type of program that we make once in a while, designed for those who are discerning enough to understand the peril that we are in and willing and able to do something in order to extricate us from it. I welcome all of you all over the world who have joined us this very evening. It could be your morning, your afternoon, depending on where you are. My name is Nnamdi Kanu. I am the leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, and by none the largest mass movement of its kind on this very planet. I lead it. I am the director of Radio Biafra, the director of Biafra Television, and by the very special grace of the Most High, the only entity we bow before, a servant of the wonderful people of Biafra. Before we go any further, we must pray. A very quick and short prayer. After that, we then delve into our tutorial, I will call it this evening. You must pay very close attention. Because somebody rang me earlier today and said to me that you have managed, not me, of course, it's Chukwu Kikabiyama that is doing it. All I do is to pass on the message that heaven has given to me to give to those who are living. And I said to this very person that Chukwu Kikabiyama is the one who is in charge piloting the affairs of men on this very earth. And then he corrected himself and he said that Chukwu Kikabiyama has been able to use you to make what was considered impossible 10 years ago to become possible. And I asked him what that thing is. He said that our people are now beginning to reason as they should. Our people are now beginning to reason like Biafrans once again. Our people have now regained their analytical mind. Our people are now discerning. Our people now question and look for the right answers. It is not just about asking a question. It is looking for the right answers. Our people are now able to do it. That is why there is this hue and cry all over the world that people have risen up to demand for an inquiry into the very dastardly and disastrous slaughter of the innocent in Enugu, and we are not letting go. Very, very critical. But let us pray, first of all. And whilst we do so, I do hope that you have your pen and paper very handy, have it ready, and listen attentively. Listen very, very attentively to tonight's broadcast. It will change your life. That I can assure you. Tonight we are going to pray a prayer of repentance and restoration. A prayer of repentance and restoration. Because the same way that your house over time gather cobweb and dust, and there is need for you to cleanse, to clean, to tidy it up, the same way that even the computer that you're using over time collects bugs all over the place, and the result of that is either slowed down or it crashes. So does our habits and our brain especially. And for those of us who may have succumbed to harmful habits, those of us who are no longer faithful or do not understand what it means to remain very faithful and then to testify the goodness of the living God in heaven. Tonight we are going to pray. Because let us be very honest, we have all been there at one time or the other. Sometimes it is guilt, sometimes it is shame, and sometimes it is regret. But we must take heart Because the same Chukwokika that we worship, who is in heaven, the creator of the heavens and the earth, the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega, he offers love, forgiveness, and restoration. If this fits you this very evening, or suits or fits your nation, so to speak, we are now going to pray for repentance and restoration that will help us to find renewed joy, hope, life, and consistency in our pursuit of the freedom of our people that Chukwokika mandated us or created us to pursue on this very earth. Chukwokika in Elohim Adonai El Shaddai, the beginning and the end, the Alpha and the Omega, the Lord of all the hosts of heaven, the ancient of days, as they would say, the ancients of the ancients. Everything you created is yours. Every glory and adoration is yours. Everything that we are today, likely to become tomorrow, is all in your hands. They belong to you. Every glory is yours. It doesn't belong to any man. It is only to thee. We are tired of our sinful struggle in life, both as individuals, as a collective, and as a nation. And we are not ashamed to admit that before the congregation, the assembly of men and women all over the world, that you may know that it cometh from our heart, that we are not deceitful. We don't pray this prayer in the quiet, or should I say in the secrets or secrecy of our homes. We are praying it that the whole world may hear us, because right now, our nation, the nation of Biafra, as a collective, we feel very distant from you. Our choices have not led us into the right places. We have listened to the whispers of the enemies instead of your words in your own scriptures. And the result has been disastrous. The result has been Miyeti Allah, a terrorist group forming their own vigilante, something that is unheard of anywhere in this world. We once walked with you, our heart tender, because you led us in the spirit. Yet, little by little, we exchanged your truths for temptations and deceit that led many away from you. Instead of taking thoughts captive and confessing them immediately, we allowed ourselves to grow totally out of control. Repentance was not in our vocabulary. Blame upon blame, cover up upon cover up, or trying to reason and rationalize reason has never worked with you. Nobody can rationalize their cover-ups or their blames. They only give birth to deeper sin entanglements. Yes, you created us in your image, O Almighty God of Israel. You know our thoughts before we even speak them. You x-ray the hearts of men and see through our sham excuses and intentions. Your spirit has warned us repeatedly, but we ignored you. Disappointment and discouragement have taken their toll on your children. So today we are confessing before the whole world our desperate need as individuals, as a collective, and a nation for you. You have promised us that if we will confess our sins, you will forgive us and make us clean again. We truly need your forgiveness. Repentance is on our hearts and lips. We want to turn around and head another direction back to you, O Elohim, but we need your help. Just as you created the world out of nothing, create a clean heart out of nothingness in us. You have forgiven us our sins. You have restored our lives and the fellowship we once had together. You do not condemn because you're God, and you will not disown your own, which is IPOB and Biafra. We are your children forever. But we take all the blame. We own our own sin. We are the ones who broke fellowship with you, and we are crushed over the way that we have come to thee and treated thy word and your holy name. We ask for your forgiveness, your love, your abiding grace, and your mercy, that this same family of IPOB that you ordained in heaven and manifest on this very earth at this time, at this very age, may live to fulfill that which you have promised, that which you foretold, because your words are yea and amen. That this Biafra may come in our time, that mankind may know that indeed there is no greater power than thee, that you are truly the Almighty God, the Lord of hosts of the heavens and this very earth. And this Biafra will come, and your children, Biafrans all over the world, will adore your holy name. We shall sing songs of joy unto your holiness. Every generation of Biafrans that will ever have the honor of walking this very earth shall offer ceaseless praise and adoration unto your holy name, that they may know that indeed we are the children of light, to the glory of your name and your name alone, now and forevermore we pray. He said, we are live and direct, please. I don't need any complaints today. I want people to download IPOB Community Radio and listen to us, because the whole world is listening. If you can take selfie and post them, so can you also download IPOB Community Radio and listen to this very live broadcast this evening. We are on satellite, we are on FM across Biafra land, but also importantly and critically, we are on my Facebook page as well. The suppression is going on. Facebook is not going to stop. Don't expect them to stop banning us. They will keep suppressing, they will keep banning us, but they will get tired. They will understand how resolute and determined we are. And when that dawns on them, they will then know they are backing up the wrong holes, that they have been doing something absolutely horrible. Who knows, even then, as we have prayed this evening, they too may even pray for repentance and be forgiven. We are proceeding very assuredly towards our program this very evening, that the world may bear us witness that we are the bearers of truth. There are some things that we lack as a people which we must correct immediately. We must learn and understand how to be disciplined. Discipline is not just about the way you conduct your personal life. It is about the way you relate to other people, the oath that you're under, and your ability to always do that which is right. To be obedient, to lay down rules and regulations, very, very important. Or else everything we are doing is a joke and it is a mess. The reason why we are where we are today is because of, I keep saying it every blessed time that I come on air, our inability to be rational enough to dissect and digest information in a way that it enables us to make the right critical decisions at the right time. That is the essence of reasoning. Very, very important indeed. And if we are a race of people that have reasoned, please write what I'm saying down. It is very, very important, please. I beg of you. If we had reasoned as a people, together as a collective, over all these years, the mess we are in now, we cannot be in it. We would have learned our lessons and we would have made some life-saving, critical decisions as a result of that. Today we would have been a better people. But because we always allow envy, greed, and jealousy to cloud our sense of judgment, we always gravitate, we always go back towards reasoning like the people that we have been rejecting and condemning all this while. This evening we are going to start from the bottom up so that you can understand what we have been saying over the years. We are going to analyze Jonathan's accusations regarding Obama's meddling in the 2015 zoo elections. Because, how do I put this? Because we did nothing then, that was the reason why Obama managed to impose a fellow Islamic jihadist in Buhari in power. And because he got away with it, the late Buhari, of course, Abba Kyari also imposed Hopos on Imo State. They have gone to impose almost at every level of leadership in our land. This is something our people don't understand. That the Fulani, the Janjaweed, they play a long-term game. And that they have help abroad. Why am I saying this? Please write this down very carefully, because this is the most idiotic mistake our people always make. When the white man came to our land and said, yes, you people, all of you, every Biafran is Igbo. When we use the word Igbo, it means every Biafran, because we all are. If you like, believe it. If you like, you don't. I am not going to romance nor massage your ignorance and stupidity. I tell you the truth. Go and do your research if you have time and resources to do so. Now listen very carefully. When the British came and when they came to Biafra land, they went to Arochukwu, they saw a temple, something exact replica of what you have in Jerusalem. You know what they said to us? You have no history. By saying you have no history, it means you have no relatives. And if you have no relatives, believe you me, you are in very serious trouble. Because there is a saying where we come from. When somebody wants to abuse you or curse you, they will say, which means you will live in want. And those who are supposed to come to help you will not have anything either to come and help you with or to come to your rescue. Meanwhile, as we are busy trying to distance ourselves away from Israel and the world Hebraic family, meanwhile, nobody is stopping the Fulani from trying to assume that they are Arabs. Nobody. And in so doing, they managed to get the help of every Arab nation you have on earth right now, lobbying and working for them. This is how foolish we are as a people. We don't reason. You need relatives. You need relatives, or else you will perish alone and in ignorance. Why am I saying this? I am now going to play for you Jonathan's interview. Anybody who is a student of Radio Biafra, if you're old enough to be listening to me, listening to us since 2012, if you are intelligent enough to have listened to all of my broadcasts in 2015, even the night of the election that they rigged and brought in the late dead Buhari, who is now in a grave in Saudi Arabia, I said one thing that night. All of you are running all over the place. I was on Radio Biafra broadcasting, and I said to all of you that Jonathan is going to capitulate. I told you that Jonathan will lose the election by 200,000 votes. I also said to you that as I'm live on the air right now, speaking to you, that Obama is putting pressure on Jonathan to resign. Some of you did not believe me. Some of you did not. But some did. Those who understand the divine nature of our mission, they understood what I was saying. Those who can see in the spirit, those more people who can see, more people who can see, they knew that what I was saying was. And I said to you that the American ambassador was pressuring Jonathan to concede defeat. And I said to the whole world that Obama wanted a fellow Islamic jihadist, a terrorist, to take over. I said it then. Some of you did not believe me. Some went as far as saying, oh, that is what he says. He's a Nnamdi Kanu. Oh, please leave him. That is what he keeps saying all the time. But today, I want to prove to each and every one of you, beyond every conceivable doubt, that I was correct. Everything I tell you is true. There are three kinds of people on this earth. People who accept the truth the way it is. People who are envious because you speak the truth. And people that resent you because it is not them. Those are the three kinds of people you have, especially in Black Africa. And I cannot help it. Heaven put words in my mouth in spirit, and I proclaim it, and it comes to pass before sons of men. It is not my own doing. I never for one day thought or felt or said to myself, oh, you're going to do this. Never. So for some of you who may think that I'm doing this, I am not. I am led in the spirit. That is why we have accomplished something that no other group of people has been able to do in the history of our nation. No other group has been able to do it. Nobody can. If you try and you will fail, you cannot do it because you're not called to do it. Why am I saying all of these things? When I told you about Jonathan, you thought I was joking, isn't it? But tonight I'm going to play something for you. Some of you have seen it, but tonight we are going to analyze it. For the whole world to hear and understand that everything I tell you on Radio Biafra is gospel, it is divine, ordained in heaven. There is nothing man can do about it. Ordained in heaven. Nothing. Jealousy and envy is rubbish before us. Because we have the grace and you don't. This IPOB has the grace, you don't. If you are not part of it, you cannot participate in this grace. I say it with every authority under the sun. And I want to prove it to you now. That we are always right. You may not like it. Some of you may go back and become even more envious. Tonight, also cause one binas woman, you cannot be like us. You can never be. Yes, you cannot. Listen to Jonathan. And I want you to reference the program that I made on the night, should I say on the eve of the election in 2015, before they read in the late dead Buhari into power. Understand it very well. People say that we insult, if you are an idiot, I will tell you are a fool to your face. I will tell you that you are an idiot. You are a fool. I will tell you. You are a baby saboteur. I will tell you. You are an aspiring sabo. I will tell you to your face wherever I meet you. I traveled all over the world and I went to the USA and I told them what I felt about them. People were shocked. Ask Ikenawan on any. He took me to a group of indigenous people in California. Ask him what I said. They were in shock and horror. I tell you anything I want to tell you in your face. There is nothing any bagger can do. Nothing, absolutely nothing. Not absolutely nothing. Listen to Jonathan, please. I want you to listen to the former president of the Federal Terrorist Zoological Republic of the zoo that Britain created. Listen to him. And you reference my program on the night of the election. Go and find it. Uche, go and look for it, or form and look for it. Anybody who has access, look for it. I want that eve of election broadcast. Go and bring it. And that same night of election, bring my broadcast. I want it to be replayed for the world to know that Elohim sent us. What I say, mortals cannot, what I see, mortals cannot see it. That is why when you give me advice and I don't take it, please don't take it the wrong way. The time for that your advice hasn't arrived yet. We see things that mortals cannot see. You cannot see it. When I said this thing, Jonathan was in panic. Jonathan could not believe. He could not. He was wondering, how did Nnamdi Kanu know what is happening? I told you what was happening. And now listen to Jonathan, please. That you may know that Chukwukika Abiyama is on our side. That Elohim we worship is with us. Listen.
The level of interference by the Obama's government was very overwhelming.
This is the voice of Jonathan.
It's not as if I couldn't have won the election even with that. But if by my own thinking and also the way some other people look at it, they go outside the normal diplomatic relationship, then it should be mentioned.
Now listen, Jonathan, after these years, I commend Jonathan, to be honest. He's a statesman. Jonathan is a statesman. I commend him. I can criticize him in any other way, but good Lord, Jonathan is a statesman. I commend him and I have respect for him for that. He waited all these years. Now the zoo is in trouble and he is telling you what happened. The same thing Obama did to Libya. The same thing Obama did to Libya to destroy Libya and plant terrorists is exactly the same thing he did in the zoo by putting in the late dead Buhari. I want you to follow this very carefully. Exactly what I told you that night. When I said that Obama was interfering in the elections, some fools could not understand what I was saying. They said, oh, he's just making it up. Has it not been confirmed from the mouth of an ex-president, from Jonathan's mouth itself? And I want that broadcast found tonight. My broadcast of the eve of the election of 2015 and the one I made on that same night when they were going to polls and voting. You will hear it. I told you that America was putting pressure on Jonathan to concede. I told you they will rig the election, that Jonathan will lose by 200,000 votes. Exactly my prediction came to pass exactly that way it is. Exactly the way it is. Our people don't know anything. Do you know the reason why Obama was helping the Janjaweed North to win? Because they are all Muslims, they are all Islam. Because the Fulanis are not ashamed of saying we are subservient to Saudi Arabia. I want people to understand, to reason, because the Fulanis, they have relatives. Using their religion, they have relatives everywhere. People who can fight for them, people who can stand for them. But you, who can stand for you? Okoko, who can stand for you? Nobody. That is why they're killing you. That is why Mietiala has formed a vigilante group. You cannot reason. You cannot reason. Your brains are not working properly. But here, after listening to us, you must reason. MUST, you must reason. If you like it or not, you must reason. All of you together. Listen to Jonathan, please. Very carefully. Obama was meddling in the elections. Obama, contrary to U.S. laws, Obama was meddling in the election of Nigeria, meddling in broad daylight because he wanted a Muslim to take over. They had their plans all laid out, well cleaned out and well made. And now Jonathan is confessing it. What I told you in 2015, on the night of the election, Jonathan is now confirming in the year 2020, 5 years after that. He's now confirming. Some of the things that you hear us say on Radio Biafra is true. But out of shame, the same way that the whole world knows that Buhari is dead, out of shame they don't want to concede. Let it not be that Nnamdi Kanu is right. And they have gone as far as trying to get those they can deceive to think, oh, don't talk about it. I said to them, to hell with you, I'll talk about Buhari, dead Buhari, because it's the truth. Any day I see the truth and I run away from it on this very platform, the glory of Elohim will depart from us. We have come to preach the truth. And we are indestructible by man. Only Chukwokika can, not man. So you understand it. What I told you in 2015, on the night of the election, Jonathan is confirming in 2025 years after that. We see things that ordinary people cannot see. Please listen. And you will hear, there is a place Jonathan will mention something and you will be shocked. You will know the reason why Nnamdi Azikiwe was not given the prime ministership of Nigeria. You will understand the reason why Aburi Accord did not stand. A lot of people are wallowing in ignorance. A lot of people are moving about in ignorance. Our job here on this platform is to cleanse your brain, to remove every vestige of black stupidity from your membrane so you can reason properly like a human being. So you can reason very well like a human being. Listen to Jonathan, please. Listen to Jonathan. To President Goodluck Jonathan. In the year...
Even that person
listen
to Nigeria at the eve of election, after Obama even issued a statement directing Nigerians to vote for the next...
Who sent who? On the eve of the election, they sent John Kerry, the U.S. Secretary of State, to go and meet with the late dead Buhari. You people must reason. This is why they say, oh, you're paying $85,000 to consultants. Do you know how much the zoo is paying? Do you know how much Fulani Cabal contributed to Obama's re-election that made it possible for Obama to send John Kerry to go to the zoo to go and see an opposition leader? Has that ever happened before? But you don't reason. You claim you went to, some of you went to school, you read political science, you cannot reason. If you cannot reason, what are you doing on this earth? Okay, what is your job? If you cannot engage your brain to be able to reason properly. I want you to understand that Chukwu is with us. Listen, please.
Chapter. That tells you something.
Tells you something.
You should not sweep this is under the carpet. If a foreign country, whether African country or even America or any other country, interferes with our own elections, we should mention it.
Now you can understand. Obama interfered with the elections in Nigeria. Even Jonathan now has now come to concede that the whole Chibok Gears thing was organized by Obama administration, executed by that midget in Kaduna, El Rufai. Some of you are blind. You are blind. You are blinded by stupidity, by a black African stupidity. You cannot reason very well. Chibok Gears planned and well executed to remove Jonathan in power. They wanted Muslims to be in power. They need Islam in the zoo, Nigeria. They want it and they are going to get it. All of you are blind and so foolish. I heard some interest about airport has been reopened. I said you're so daft, it's untrue. Somebody came to your house and stole 1 million naira from you, and then came back and gave you 1 kobo in return, and you're jumping up and down. You're an idiot, a complete idiot. Complete fool you are. That is why I have no time for morons. I cannot stand them. They say, oh, she's very harsh. Why won't I be harsh? If you're a fool, I will tell you are. Somebody stole 1 million naira from you, came back and gave you 1 kobo, and you're throwing a party. He's telling me about Enugu Airport. What useless Enugu Airport is that? Ordinary tarmac that our engineering corps in the volunteers can build in 1 week. You are jumping up and down. Look at how they deceive you. Chibok girls, organized by Obama and El Rufai, with the late dead Buhari, Abakari and Co, Fulani Cabal, deceiving all of you. And you wake up and you talk about our Nigeria, this is our Nigeria, we don't know what is happening. You people are fools, you know nothing. I will insult you because if you're an idiot, I'll tell you you are. Let us listen to Jonathan, please. Let's listen to him. To what President Jonathan has to say. Listen.
How do we get these girls out?
Yes, Chibok girls.
Within a couple of days, we saw people going to the US, bring back our girls' placards.
Yes.
Why?
Mrs. Obama, did you see Mrs. Obama carrying bring back our girls? Did you see her? All planned, all well orchestrated, planned, Fulani Islamic Brotherhood, cabal, they planned it. You saw, all of you saw Obama. Bring back our girls, so they all planned it to paint Jonathan black, to destroy Jonathan. That a Fulani Janjaweed will come in and take over our waterways, take over our farmlands under Ruga. Tell you that Miyetia, a terrorist group, can form vigilante across the country, and all of you moronic, idiotic zoo animals that Lugard created, all of you are just there looking more sheepishly like a bunch of idiots that you are. You cannot reason. You cannot reason, can you? Let us hear Jonathan, please.
And of course, the Mrs. Obama received one of those placards.
Mr. Obama.
I cannot take responsibility for the abduction. I don't control Boko Haram. They are criminals. But as the president, of course, you know, it's not the president that go to the field. You have security and intelligence officers that do the work. Let me admit that, yes, maybe they do their best, but their best was not good enough for us to recover the girls. That does not mean that I'm trying to remove myself from any blame. Yes, I may not be blamed for the action, but I could be blamed that my security and intelligence system are not strong enough to be able to rescue the girls.
Do you see how a statesman talks? You can criticize Jonathan all you like, but the man is a natural born statesman. He even took responsibility for Chibok girls because it happened under his watch. Compare that with these morons, these scavenging, desert-dwelling, cattle-heading animals. You will see the difference between a Biafran, somebody who by nature is cultured, and a bunch of vandals from the depths of hell. That tells you all you need to know. Obama interfered. Why did Obama interfere? Let us go to Ojukwu and Aburi. So you understand. When I tell you people that the alliance against us, you don't know. Even the complete idiot who may be on Facebook yapping and writing rubbish do not know the amount of enemies Biafra have. He had no clue. Had no idea. Everybody, Biafra, when is it coming? They have no understanding. The hurdles we need to negotiate and cross before we get to the promised land, they have no idea. They think you wake up in the morning, you write to Trump, you write to EU, Biafra will come. They are insane. I used to say on this platform that Biafra is the last miracle, and I used to say it for a reason. Because of the obstacles and hurdles in front of us, we need to overcome. This is one of them. American president from nowhere is against a head of state because Jonathan is a Biafran. They cannot allow him. No, it's impossible. He cannot stay there. I want you to pay particular attention to what I'm going to play next. And I said this evening, this program may last up to 3 hours. So be prepared. If you don't have data, you go and borrow data from. So go and borrow, you buy on credit. You must listen this evening and learn. After tonight's program, you will know that reasoning is very important in life. And when you go through Jonathan's experience, when you go through the experience of Nnamdi Azikiwe, you go through the experience of Ojukwu, believe you me, you need to go back into your room, turn off the light, and fast and pray for God to give you the capacity and ability to reason. You pray for 30 days. I'm telling you the truth. If you look at, you don't need anybody to educate you on anything. Look at how they treated Jonathan. Look at how they treated Ojukwu. Look at how they treated Azikiwe. That will tell you all you need to know. That the people you claim you're with, you're not with them. Or those that claim they're with you, they're not with you. That is what informs how we run IPOB and why IPOB is the most successful freedom fighting movement in the whole world. Not despite the fact that no politician in Biafra land is in support of what we are doing, because they are cowards, of course. You know that very well. But yet we are waxing strong all over the world. Have you asked yourself why that was made possible? Any day you understand it, that day you respect IPOB. You respect IPOB. Now let us go to the next one so that the world can hear very, very well what has been happening to us. And after this program tonight, I want you to put one and one together. I don't want you to forget IPOB. I want you to cast your mind back. Ask yourself this question. Why was it that Nnamdi Azikiwe, a frontline militant agitator for independence for Nigeria, the only man who did not inherit the mantle of leadership across the whole of Africa? Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why Aburi did not stand. Ask yourself why they lied against Ojukwu and said Ojukwu declared war and sustained the narrative for nearly 52 years. They sustained it for 5 decades. Blatant lie. Even the journalist in Lagos or Abuja writing or Ibadan writing that lie, he knows it's a lie, but he will write it. Ask yourself why. Now we are going to discuss Aburi. And Ojukwu is here. All of you have seen it, but you did not pay attention. Our job here is to get you to pay attention to the things you ought to pay attention to. That's what we are doing. And I'm going to play that same interview. And I want you to listen very carefully to what our eternal general has to say. Our overall supreme leader for life, what he has to say about Aburi. Let shame befall our enemies. And this evening, you will see, I've shown you the hand of America. At this time, I'm going to show you the hand of Britain. And you'll be wondering, but what did we do to them? Why is it that they want to suppress, to clamp down on Biafra? Any day, as I keep saying, believe you me, any day you go into your bedroom and you think and you discover the reason why they're against us, you can never be a Sabo in your life again forever and ever. Never. Listen to Ojukwu and listen very carefully to our leader, the only genuine general you have before he passed on. Listen to him, please. Listen.
But at the end of it, I don't want to go because these things are all, the tapes are available.
His English is Queen's English. Some of you may struggle to understand it. He is learned. He's a learned man. Highly polished, highly educated. Some of you may struggle with the crispness of his accent and his tone. But please do pay attention. He is the Biafran head of state. Pay attention to him, please. He is late, but to us, he will remain our head of state. Listen very carefully.
The records are there.
Records of Aburi.
In fact, only about 2 weeks ago, I saw a set of the records again.
So the Aburi records exist?
The transcripts are available.
They're available?
But we talked about the Nigerian situation. And certainly, at the end, everybody says, oh, you told them this, you did that. The fact was that our case was so clear.
Yes, case for Biafra and at Aburi.
That I actually believe at the end of Aburi that the problem was not Gawan.
Listen.
But probably some ambassadors in Lagos who were...
The problem was not Gawan at the end of Aburi. Our leader knew. He said some ambassadors in Lagos did not want Aburi to stand. So I am telling you today, Britain does not want restructuring. All of those blood-sucking, demonic neo-colonialists, they don't want restructuring. That is why the Fulani Janjaweed can never restructure. I need you to understand this. Ambassadors, these are white people from Europe and elsewhere. They have no business with the governance of Black Africa. Absolutely nothing. Now, ask yourself, in 1967, why was it that some white ambassadors in Lagos did not want Aburi to stand? Because Aburi standing meant that the eastern region, which is Biafra, will have an independent economic system. Because before they sent, and I'm going to tell you tonight, it was Britain that planned the coup. I'm telling you the truth. You may be shocked, but it's the truth. The coup of 1966 was planned by the British. The reason being, they wanted to destroy the economy of the East under Dr. Michael Okpara. Michael Okpara had the fastest growing economy in the whole world. In the whole world on this very earth. Dr. Michael Okpara of the Eastern Regional Government had the fastest growing economy. We were manufacturing things. Britain could not stand it. Britain did not want to see it. They planned that very coup to destroy us. One day it will happen. I'm saying it now. It sounds like it's a joke. One day it will reveal itself. And say, oh my goodness. Oh, Mazi Nnamdi Kanu was right. Of course, I'm always right. I'm sorry to say this. Some people don't like it. I'm a human being. I'm immortal. I'm nobody. I know that. But I get it wrong. I get it right 99% of the time. Maybe I get it wrong 1%. I want you to listen. I want Efulefus, all the idiots, all the Abuja contractors, all the baby sabo with feeding bottle. I need you to understand that you don't know the amount of enemies you have. You have no clue. You have no idea. This evening, I want to come to you, I want to do a slight revelation. So you will understand the enemies you have, that only Chukwukikabiam Elohim can save us, not man. I need you to understand it tonight. Are you listening? It was ambassadors in Lagos, not Gowon, ambassadors in Lagos that put pressure on Gowon. Abandon Aburi. The same people you're going to say, oh, give us restructuring. You are dreaming. You're wasting your time. Let me listen to my leader, please. Listen very carefully.
Those in Lagos who were pressing for something else.
Yes.
Because we understood each other. We agreed on everything.
Ojukwu and Gowon understood each other.
The drafting was, in fact, my chief secretary.
The drafting of Aburi Accord.
With two other chief secretaries from the other side.
Yes.
They said, no. And drafted and agreed. We looked at it, we agreed.
Listen.
General Ankara read over the whole...
General Ankara was the then Ghana head of state.
At the end, asked us if we wanted to amend anything.
After the whole agreement was made, General Ankara asked Ojukwu and Gowon, do you want to amend anything? They said no. We understood each other. We know what we want for our country. We wanted to move forward. But meanwhile, white ambassadors in Lagos, we are not happy.
Ask yourself, where were they not happy? What is it about Aburi that made them uncomfortable? Because restructuring back to the regions will allow people the autonomy to grow their economy. But these criminals, these neo-colonialists in Abuja now, they don't want it. Because if you do it, the ingenuity of a Biafran will come to the fore. The intelligence of an Igbo man will rise up. You can't stop it. So the best way for them to stop it is by bringing darkness. Darkness is full of Janjaweedism. Are you following what I'm saying tonight? Do you know, have you heard this before, that Ojukwu and Gowon had no problem? They agreed, they drank champagne, they shook hands, they did everything, they now came back to Lagos. White ambassadors in Lagos said no. And that is Britain. We don't want it. So that Opera can be growing economy of the East. So that these people can rise up again. These stubborn people can come up again. They said no. Because you know why? They know I have discovered what they know about who we are as a people. That is why they are frightened. That is why no matter how many reports Amnesty will write about the killing of our people, they will stand on it, they will say no. We are at ICC. Have they called our case? The answer is no. They can never call it. Because they know that Biafra is the light of Africa. They know that any day that Biafra stands, that Africa will stand. So what they have done is to go to the source and switch off the light. They just have refused. They took the fuse and they walked away. So everything you are doing, connecting every cable everywhere, until you put in the fuse, it can never work. And what is that fuse that Britain pulled away? It's called freedom. Now you understand it, don't you? Now you understand it. Only if some of our people know what we know. You don't know what I have seen. You don't know how far we have gone. You don't know why we do things the way we do it. You don't know why we say things the way we do it. You are confused. You don't know. If you don't know in USA, you ask questions and you'll be told. Now listen carefully. This, what I'm telling you tonight, I'm telling you that almost 70% of people don't know this. They don't know it. You don't know the amount of enemies you have. You have no clue. Now listen very carefully to what our leader has to say. Listen, please.
No. At the end of all that, the position was so good.
Very good. Between Biafra and Nigeria. Listen.
Ankara drove Jack Gawan and myself.
Yes.
To the airport.
Yes.
Jack was sitting on his left, I was sitting on his right. He was in the middle.
Yes.
And in the course of that journey, at a point, General Ankara shook his head and said, "Oh, thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
If only we can go on like this, everything would be all right."
Yes. In Ghana. Yes. Ojukwu and go on in Ghana.
I was the one. As I do now from time to time, I go for the dramatic. Suddenly I picked up Gawan's hand.
Ojukwu took Gawan's hand?
Put it on Ankara's.
Put it on Ankara's lap, yes.
Brought my other hand, placed it on it.
Yes.
And I said, "General Sir, hold us together, I want to say something."
Yes.
So General Ankara put his hand on top of the two hands. And I said, "General, I want to assure you that I am totally satisfied with everything we said."
Yes. This from my head of state.
I will go further and say to you something I did not say at the conference.
Yes, what was that?
And that is that once we have implemented everything we have said,
yes,
I would ask you for one favor and one favor only.
Yes.
And that would be to be the one to propose Jack Gawan as a head of state of Nigeria.
Are you listening? That was my head of state, the late general. Demodumegwu Ojukwu. Has Gowon is alive. Can Gowon, he says he's a prayer warrior. I want Gowon to come out to say that what Ojukwu said in this interview is falsehood. That they're a bunch of lies. Because he knows if he says it, that even the hell that he's going to, the hottest part of it will be reserved for him. Are you listening now? Ojukwu, for all you useless Nigerians, all you animals in the zoo, Ojukwu inside the car being driven by General Ankra's driver. General Ankara was in the middle. Ojukwu was on the right. Gowon was on the left. Ojukwu took Gowon's hand and placed it on the lap of General Ankara. And he said to the general, General, I want you to be the one to propose that Gowon should be the head of state of Nigeria, including Biafra. But all these years, all we've been reading in history books, that Ojukwu is a warlord. He went to war. Do you see why God? People don't know why God is punishing the zoo. The same way I'm telling you tonight. You see Britain. God will decimate Britain. God will divide Britain into pieces. Write it down as I'm telling you now. Write it down. So when it happens, you say Nnamdi Kanu said so. Are you following? Now ask yourself this question. When Ojukwu and Gowon wanted to restructure as a result of what obtained in 1966 and 67, who stopped the restructuring? It's Britain. Are you following? They are the ones that stopped restructuring. Now I'm asking you, are you telling me now that they are going to agree to restructuring? The answer is of course no. I am Anglophile. If I'm not a Biafran and Igbo man, I'll probably wish to be an Englishman. As I keep telling you all the time, believe you me, they have conscience. English people, they have conscience, they are good people. But there are some criminals in the mold of Lugard, in the mold of Viscount Harcourt, in the mold of all these wicked criminals that descended on Africa like a biblical plague and brought darkness where once there was light. Now, do you see what is happening in the zoo? Do you now understand Nigeria a lot better? I said tonight, your thinking faculties will be opened up. You can never be the same again. Look at all of them accusing us of Biafra rebellion, Ojukwu rebel. Do you see the extent they have gone to cover the truth? Do you see how evil these people are? Do you see why I insult them? Do you see why I speak the way I do? Because Ojukwu was speaking like an Oxford-trained historian, speaking grammar, being a gentleman. You saw the way they treated him? They insulted him. Insulted my head of state, a man that led men to war to preserve our way of life. If not, they would have killed all of us. And Ojukwu said, on Aburi we stand. Aburi meant still one Nigeria, but let us have devolution. Britain said no. Then ask yourself, why did Britain say no? There lies your answer. That is why they will kill us. BBC will never carry it. But the helicopter crash in Lagos, they carried it immediately. I want you to ask yourself, what have we done to Britain to deserve this hatred? Any day you find an answer to that, believe you me, you can never be a Sabo in your life again. You can never be. Never. Now pay attention very well. I've given you 3 examples tonight. If you want to understand the mess we are in as Biafran people, including everybody, including Ezon, including Ejo people, including Ishekiri, everybody, I want you to follow this very carefully. Jonathan could have still remained in power, but he took the intervention of an Islamic United States president to remove him from power. These are the things you ought to know. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself why they did not allow Aburi to stand. Ask yourself why they did not allow Nnamdi Azikiwe to become the head of state. Only then will you find the answers. And after that, as I pray the prayer of repentance tonight, believe you me, you will go and start burning candle and praying for God to remove every trace of Sabo in you. Now you understand it, don't you? Now you know that we know what we're talking about. Sometimes when you advise me, some people say, he doesn't take advice. It is not every advice that I will take. Because if you give me advice, I take it. And then I weigh it against what the prevailing circumstance. If it's conducive, I take it. If not, I may defer it to another time. Now you understand, don't you? Let us continue. Why do you think Britain supports Miyetti Allah? Why? Remember that we floated BSS to safeguard our people. Our own people came against us. Our own people. In fear of Fulani. But now, can you see how boldly Miyetti Allah is saying, we are going to float a nationwide. We are going, as I told you a few days ago, they said we are going to work with the police and the army. They are friends in the army and the police. All terrorists to kill, to pillage, to destroy. Now you are following. Now you understand the mess Nigeria is in. Now you understand why we are the way we are. Today you understand why people come out now and they are confessing that we have opened their eyes. Now you understand, of course, that we are very serious. We are not going back. Not at all. Not today, not tomorrow. Not today, not tomorrow. Somebody published an article called Justification for Resuscitation of the Sovereign State of Biafra in that newspaper. It is my humble suggestion and recommendation that our people go and look for it. They have removed it. I cannot even open it here. It seems to me they have removed it. It seems they have removed it. In that very article, you will hear or see what our brother was saying. Our brother simply said, very simple, that in Nigeria, Nnamdi Azikiwe was the only person to lose out amongst every nationalist leader you had that fought colonialism in Africa. That is what you need to know. These are the things that you need to understand, because our people do not reason. Here, we compel you to reason. Go and read that article, Justification for the Resuscitation of the Sovereign State of Biafra. This is published by Vanguard. Unfortunately, they no longer want us to see it. It has been removed. It can no longer be found. That is the world of the Janjaweed. That is what they do. Once they see the truth, they suppress it. And the reason why some of them, of course, they love us in secret, of course they do. The reason why they come out sometimes to be talking rubbish or paying all these idiots, sometimes they think they can come to, go on said it, if I knew how they loved money and power, I could have just shared money and allowed them to fight themselves. Don't allow yourself to be one of those that Gowon was talking about. Ask yourself also this evening, why is it that Vanguard publication of today that I read before coming on air is no longer there? That tells you all you need to know. Because that publication contained the truth. It contained the truth. Absolute truth. I want people to understand the way the mind of a black person is. I need you to understand how the mind of a black person functions. Any day you understand it, you will then know. You will then understand and appreciate. You will come to the full realization that what we have been doing here has been right all along. Now, listen very carefully. Why we are deploying Miyetti Allah vigilante all over Nigeria, Abdullahi Bodejo of Miyetti Allah. These were the same newspapers that we are castigating Nnamdi Kanu and IPOB for floating BSS to defend our land. They are the ones today interviewing this man. Nobody has bombed his house or raided his house. He is fine and okay. No northern governor, no Fulani governor is against him. And I want to ask the Igbo governors, have you seen it? When we floated BSS, they said, oh, go and kill him, go and you jail him, bomb him, you proscribe them. You did. But now they are bringing terrorism to your doorstep. Have you proscribed Miyetti Allah? I'm asking the useless Igbo governors, have you proscribed them? Now listen carefully. The national president of Mieti Yala, Kautal Hore, Bello Abdullahi Bodejo, has said that castle rustling and incessant attacks by their members led to the formation of this security outfit, Mieti Allah Vigilance Group. Which will operate all over the country, not because Fulani has no homeland. So they now need to conquer everybody at the same time, and all of you are just there, sheepishly and hopelessly looking as the morons you are, and they are moving ahead, full steam ahead with their plans. Do you know why they're doing it? Because they know that Buhari is dead. If all of you can be so foolish enough not to realize that Buhari is dead, then they might as well do to you as they please. That's what they're doing, and that's what they have done. Now listen, we launched Mieti Yala on July 27, and we started with 1,000 personnel who are still undergoing training with Vigilante Group of Nigeria. That's their own name, Vigilante, which means they own the whole of Nigeria. And Moteku is for the West. Any day Elohim decides that something should come from the East, it will be for the East. But their own is not for the North or for the Sahel North. They call North, Arewa North. No, it's for the whole of Nigeria with the help of Britain. Now listen, and follow him very gently, please. You know, Fulani people are moving to those areas where there are grasses. Anywhere there is grass, there is Fulani area. That's what he's telling you. Any place where there is grass, they will operate there to see how they can feed their cows. Are you not foolish? All of you in the south, are you not hopeless? Can you see your stupidity in front of your eyes? Can you see how hopeless you are? Those of you from the south, Oduduwa and Biafra, can you use your two naked eyes to observe your stupidity? All the years of subservience to Fulani, has it ever made them to relent? They are coming to conquer you. You see who puts on them, they will even take over his own village. I'm telling you the truth. He doesn't know how they operate. Supreme Court governor. This is how they are. This is how they behave. This is how they operate. The reason why they hate Radio Biafra is because we tell them the truth the way it is, very raw. We don't sugarcoat it. Anywhere there is grass, a Fulani will go there. So everywhere they are, the vigilante is supposed to be there. So if they come to your village all the way from Mali, from Timbuktu, from Mauritania, they come to your village in Okigwe, it is where they are. So any land they're in, they will have vigilante. Have you heard of this? Is the easiest way to conquer people. Very, very easy, direct and straightforward. The easiest way to conquer. And our governors are there drinking kai, drinking ogogoro, just saying, "Oh, you'll be president in 2023. Please give us your land." Do you see why we speak the way we do? We are the last line of defense between whatever thing we have called freedom today, or relative freedom, and total darkness. Do you see the work that IPOB is doing? Do you now understand it? Do you now have the common sense, the gumption to appreciate the depth and the sacrifice that IPOB is making? Do you now understand it? For everybody, not just Biafrans, for Duduwa, for Middle Belt, for everybody. Even for Hausa. Do you now understand it? The journalist asked Mieti Yala, there are Yorubas all over the country, but they did not set up a Moteku in every state of the Federation. You know what he said to them? That concerns them. If they are all over the country, they are not operating in the bushes and forests. What he's saying is that they operate in our bushes and in our forests. It belongs to them. They are going to form vigilante. And all of you are there, foolishly and as the idiotic black animals that some of you are, you're just looking. You read, you look, you vote for Big Brother Nigeria, you gossip, you play, you do your sabo, you go to a politician in Onitsha, you collect your 2,500 to buy data for the week. And some of you that have promised you money. I know some people in IPOB that have promised heaven and earth. Of course, it's failure. you know the way we roll. We are unbreakable. IPOB is one family. Indivisible under God. Impossible to divide. Impossible. I challenge any bagger to try. It's a challenge to any idiot to try. Then you see how formidable we are. Fulani everywhere in your bushes. Because anywhere a cattle can feed is Fulani territory. That was why they brought Ruga and it failed. Then they brought a waterways bill. Don't you understand? Don't you reason? Nigger, don't you reason? Nigger, don't you reason? Efulefu, sabo, ntike. Can't you reason for once? You cannot reason because you're a saboteur. You're waiting for Loretta Onochie to bring you the package they promised you. Stupid people. Go and read the interview. Why we are deploying Mieti Allah vigilante everywhere, your community will be gone. Community is gone. You are a professional petition writer in Abuja or in Lagos. File with your office flat file with outdated map in your village is gone. Idiots complaining for presidency, your village is gone, your forest is gone. Because before you become president, you must sign that wherever there is Fulani. I warned you before. That is why they are building settlements in our land. So that any day there is any fracas, Britain will say, oh, it's one Nigeria. Wherever you find yourself, you're a Nigerian. And that way you West, you have the emir of Okwa. I'm now telling you, if they said to you that what I said in 2015, that Jonathan will confirm it in 2020, will you believe me? Will you believe me? What I said in 20 has been confirmed in 2020. Go and play that my broadcast, you will see it there. Very clean and clear. The gospel of heaven, that's what I give to you. The gospel from above. Everything I tell you is gospel. You cannot dispute it. Not now, not tomorrow, not ever. Indisputable. They come to your village. Mietiala is in your backyard, they're grazing their cattle. They come to you and they give you 4,500 naira. Promise you heaven and earth as they promised to my. All of you suppose that they promised something. The something they promised Obiano. They promised Buruburu, Ugwani. They promised even Hibaz. They're all president in waiting. Excellency, president in waiting. When Mietiala calls them, yes, Mr. President in waiting. That one, his head will expand. He will give away his village to Mieti Allah. You see how foolish they are. The same thing with Sabontik. Hey, people who are hustling and struggling in life with no hope and no means of livelihood. And you get a call from Loretta Onochie. Are you prepared to be a Sabo? That is, government has voted, there is a budget for the government now. Come and be a Sabo. You open 1 or 2 or 3 Facebook accounts, you start talking rubbish. But to those that felt they were human beings, they have tried and have failed to divide or to bring IPOB down because we are built on a rock. Talk less of Mombansa, people who stuck in trade is criminality. Go and read it. Mietiala, they have you people by the balls, I'm sorry to say, the proverbial balls, by so to speak. Somebody wrote something very, very important and I picked and I said I must analyze it. It's not from me. Hopefully his name will be at the bottom of it. He said, don't let Indio Katamana, IPOB, Biafra haters and Fulani blooded Igbo Efulefus fool you. They are fooling all of you. All these Efulefus yapping rubbish, they are fooling all of you. As they ask them, what have you done about the Fulani settlement in Lobuku? Ask them, what have you done about the Fulani settlement at Nike? What have you done about the Fulani Mieti Yala settlement in Okwa? Ask all the Efulefus. They have no answer. Their job is to distract you. Their job is to take your mind away from holding politicians accountable for the unwarranted, unwanted presence of Mieti Yala terrorists with their cattle in our villages. Some of you cannot reason that through. When they are yapping their rubbish and talking their nonsense, their job is to distract you as Fulanis are taking over your village. Is that very clear? Now listen. They are deploying Mieti Yala vigilante across the whole place. Because they want to take everywhere over. They want to take over your land. They want to take over your land. Ask yourself, why hasn't your governors come together to float their own defense? Because they are in Fulani pocket. Fulani they see our land as a conquered territory. If not for IPOB. Why do you think the governors are keeping quiet as they're killing us? Because they have told them over the years, control them. They're saying we can't control them. If you like, come and kill them. We will not talk. And that's what they're doing now. Compare that to other governors everywhere around the zoo, and you will see what is happening. You see the way they are speaking up. They're talking about community policing, so they can hand over the whole security architecture of a people over to IG, who is a Fulani man, and they can now come and do basically ravage you. They will ravage you. Nonsense. They are undergoing training. And some of you are keeping quiet. Some of you are allowing idiots to distract you. Some of you are following gossip. Every gossip that comes up, you go and join. You want to comment. You want to participate. I feel sorry for all of you, because as you're doing that rubbish, let me tell you what happened to people who were as foolish as we are today. Because before they took over Southern Kaduna, they did the same thing. They sent their emissaries and their agents, the quislings amongst them. They came in. They said, oh no, one Nigeria, unity of the country. Unity of the country that's slaughtering you. The unity of the country, unity. Who are the ones doing the killing? Fulani. Who are the ones forming terrorist groups? Fulani. Who are the ones in the army killing or Nnamdi innocent people? Fulani. Now, you understand it? Now you understand it. Very soon, pastors in our land will be saying exactly the same thing that some pastors are now saying in Southern Kaduna. Followers are now urging their pastors to buy guns with the tight money they're giving to their pastors. Go and buy guns for us, please. These are Southern Kaduna. These are the people that fought the war. These are the people that believed in one Nigeria. These are the people that they lied to and told that Ojukwu is a very horrible man. But now, do you see the irony of the whole thing? Had Aburi succeeded, Ojukwu was actually negotiating for Southern Kaduna people to save them as well, to save everybody. Do you see the funny part of the whole thing? Now you understand it. Now you understand it. You see the way they work. Over the years, they were trying Southern Kaduna. We are in the army. Nobody should do anything to disrupt the peace. So some of these things now that the Supreme Court Governor of Imo State has been saying, idiots, psychophants. Now do you see it? Now do you understand it? Now can our people begin to appreciate the mess they are in? Look at Southern Kaduna. That is what is going to happen to you. Let me read the news for you. Pastor of Vision Pioneer Trust Ministry in Kafanchan, Apostle Dr. Emmanuel Nuhukure, has said that as a priest, people now come to him asking him to buy arms for them. They are calling on their pastors to take part of the offerings and buy arms for them to defend themselves. That is the level of despair. People are no longer afraid. He asked the federal government of the zoo to arrest the senseless bloodshed. Who is going to arrest it? Is it Buhari, who is in a grave in Saudi Arabia? Who is going to arrest what? Who, where, when, how? I ask you. Where is Buratai? Have you seen him in public? Where is Osibajo? Have you seen him in public? You know, this is the reason why white neo-colonialists can interfere and meddle in your life. Because they know that a majority of you cannot reason very well. Where is Osibajo? Simple question. When was the last time you saw Osibajo live? Anywhere. When was the last time you saw Buratai live anywhere? Confirmable. Well, of course, we know that Buhari doesn't exist. Even the boy these days is scared to come out. The mask wearer can't even come out anymore. Is that very clear to all of you? Can you now all begin to understand that Equa Church, even indigenous of Southern Kaduna indigenous at Equa Good News Church in Kaduna, they are also saying it. There is going to be a revolution. These are people feeling the heat in Southern Kaduna. And you're busy in the South writing rubbish about one Nigeria. How you support one Nigeria. I feel sorry for all of you. Because they are coming. Who is going to stop them? Nobody. To the extent that somebody in the Nigeria north is saying, divide the zoo now, divide Nigeria now, no angel can unite us, according to a northern elder. This is the news carried by Arewa Gazette, which is one of their papers. That amalgamation of 1914 was a grave mistake. The chairman of the dialogue group in Kaduna, Haji Mohammed Mahadi Shehu, has lamented the ethno-religious divisions in the country, stating that breakup of the nation may not be such a bad idea. But does Britain want it? Of course not. They are your creators. They are your makers. They built you. They told you who you are. I came across, I was reading an article a few days ago. They said in 1960, Nigeria became independent. If you're a fool, you would think that Nigeria was an indigenous country in Africa existing before 1960. They will never tell you that, oh, Nigeria created by Britain in 1914, Britain now handed over to the local idiots in 1960. No. Do you see how they use grammar to deceive you? If you're not sensible enough, you'll be thinking that Nigeria has been existing for a long time before 1960. They will never tell you that it was them that created that Nigeria. So that is why when a black man stands up to say, I am proud of Nigeria, a white man will just laugh at you, but they will not tell it to your face. They will tell you you're a fool. You know nothing. How can you allow me to come to your country to create a nation for you? Are you foolish? Now you understand, don't you? Now you understand. The chairman of the dialogue group is saying that people have not been able to rise above ethnic and religious sentiments, making a united nation very difficult to achieve. But as long as oil is flowing, gas is flowing from Biafra land, they will keep patching up the zoo. They keep giving more power to the Janjaweed. Because they know that all you need to do to a Biafran, and Igbo man especially, of course, every Biafran, just go there and sprinkle some money. Give them, create some ATOSs, create some sabo. You know, some saboteurs, even some people within IPOB. They see themselves as many, their dream is to become like ATOS one day. And if you go and investigate him, you see that the way he made his money was by being subservient to the Janjaweed. So the only thing for you to do is to become subservient to Janjaweed. You become saboteur full time. Sabo. You start from childhood. You know, sabo. Peddling your gossip here and there, peddling it. If you're lucky, the rest of chair will pick it up. Or if you're the heavyweight, maybe they will send an Igbo politician to you, to come and speak to you and see how they can convince you. Oh, these things, the governors are finding it very hard. How can we divide IPOB from within? And you are a fool, you buy into it. Maybe they will change your wardrobe for you, or, you come and try and see what will happen to you. The zoo tried, they failed. The governors tried, they failed. Is it Okoko that will divide IPOB? Who is the idiot? I'm over the fool. They've not given birth to the idiot to divide IPOB. They've not given birth to you. People can gossip all they like. Gossiping is free. Anybody is free to gossip. If you cannot gossip on Facebook, you go to Twitter. You cannot gossip on Twitter, you go to TikTok. If not for TikTok, you go to Hot Talk. Anywhere you like, you can gossip. Gossip is free. Anybody can gossip their life away. That's your business. That IPOB is one family and indivisible under the sun. And I get all your unchoncho, envy, greed, and jealousy, it doesn't mean anything. I lead IPOB. I appoint and I dismiss. Also, course, one thing when they can ask, I don't know what is also one in English. I don't know. Somebody should tell me what also one in English. I don't know what it means. Someone should tell me what it means. Here we educate you for free. For free. The only thing will cost is to download IPOB Community Radio app. That is the only thing that it will cost you. That is all. That is all. Compare the governors you have with the other governors elsewhere. Let us be a bit rational. Let us drill it down to ethnic nationalities. Per se. Where is Governor Autumn from? We are told that it is Fulani, Yoruba, and the Igbo that are the major so-called tribes in the zoo. Is that correct? So Samuel Autumn is not from a major tribe. And if anybody needs to be scared as a governor, Governor Autumn should be very scared, isn't it? But he's not. Do you know that what Governor Autumn has said, no single so-called Igbo governor has been able to say it, with a sort of we care, of course. Now and again, if he is going to be consistent, that remains to be seen. Look at Governor Autumn. Governor Autumn said that any Mieti Allah they catch in Benue State, they will jail them. Can any Igbo governor say that? But Governor Tom is on his own, just Benue State. He has no relatives to come to his rescue. But a group of 7, let us say 7 for now, including Delta and Rivers, 7 of them, they are terrified. They are terrified. Only one governor, only one man can stand up against Mietiala that 7 men cannot stand up against. That tells you the level of stranglehold they have over our people. They control the exercise over our lives. They are your political leaders. They are your governors. They are your this. What Governor Otto managed to open his mouth to say, these 7 people cannot say it. Talkers of the whole of 11 of them, they cannot say it. That tells you the extent of the mess you're in. In his response to Mietiala saying they form vigilante everywhere, Governor Autumn, through his chief press secretary, warned the Fulani organization not to come to his state, adding that their motive was to carry out their heinous activities to another level. In other words, a sitting governor is coming out and saying that Mietiala is a terrorist group in the open. Something that no, not one single politician from the East can say it. Not one soul. Something. Is Governor Autumn from a major tribe? Are his people armed? Because when men have soul and conscience, when men can stand on their 2 feet, you don't push them about. Look at your governors. Can they say what? Can they stand up? Instead, they are putting Mietiala in their own government in their states in the East. What does that tell you about them? Respect your governors, respect your political leaders. Yes, respect, but respect is reciprocal. Respect us by coming out to condemn what Mietiala is doing. That is the least you can do. Governor Autumn has done it in Benue State. Why can't you do it? Because they promised all 7 of you presidency. All the 7 of you. And all of you are so foolish. That betrayal that is in our people. The foolish thing about it is that all of them think, oh, I'm not going to tell the Abia one. Abia will say, oh, I will not tell the guy anymore that they have promised me the presidency. All I'm going to do is to undermine them. You see them working at cross purposes, fighting themselves, fooling themselves, deceiving themselves. Have you now come to the realization of what we have seen so far? Do you now accept that only IPOB can save you? Do you now see it? Do you now see it? Look at Governor. He's not from a majority tribe. No, not at all. He has nobody to help him. It's only him, but he's fighting the good fight. Look at your own governors. You want to respect. You want people to respect. Look at all of them, as cowardly as they are. As cowardly as they are. Ordinary Mietiala, people that move cattle from place to place, they are the ones controlling the government houses in the East. And you people are not ashamed of yourselves. You have no shame. It's only to detail your politicians, to see if there is anybody that can buy in IPOB. Please start troubling IPOB. See if you can start fermenting trouble and convince them and put confusion. Mad people. Mad people everywhere. I hope you're following. These were the same governors that were against BSS. When I formed it, they said, no, we don't want it. But these are the same people now empowering Mietiala to form vigilante outfit nationwide. Somebody wrote and said, I weep for Ndibo because our people no longer reason, our people no longer think clearly and properly. You have elders, you have the governors. When we formed, I can see things many years ahead. The same way that I saw the zoo today, I told you what they were going to do. We saw far ahead and said, for us to stop them from raping our sisters and kidnapping our mothers, the best thing for us to do is to form a security outfit. We floated BSS. The governors held a meeting. Even before the Fulani Janjaweed, they held a meeting and said, we proscribe IPOB. It was Igbo governors that proscribed IPOB first. That is the truth. Let nobody run away from it. That is why today shame. Why? Because somebody promised them presidency. What does that tell you about them? What does that tell you about them? What does that tell you about them? Everything that you need to know. Everything that you need to know. I have said go and download IPOB community radio. People are no wonder the Fulani is ruling you and messing your lives up. I have told you. Go and download IPOB community radio and stop complaining. Just go and do as you're told and stop complaining. That's the thing about us. When it's time to be sensible, people don't have sense anymore. Please go and make sure you download IPOB community radio. Please make sure it's switched off onto each other. It's stopped. The whole thing you used to do. What is going on? Can you send it here, please? Somebody is trying to send me a very important information. A very important information. Please send it here. A very important they want to send to me. Send it here, please. Guardian. Excuse me, let me have a sip of water. I feel sorry for Zoom. I want to report to the world tonight that the Zoo Army are busy picking up people and arresting them. They have just driven into Ohafia barracks tonight with nearly 40 youths, young men. Nobody can actually tell where they picked them up from. All blindfolded and loaded them into Hilux trucks and drove them to Ohafia barracks. We are letting the whole world know that as we are live on air right now, report is filtering in Ohafia barracks. They are now going out and picking up people on the road, on the streets, blindfolding them and driving them to their barracks for possible execution. This is the situation we have on the ground. When you have political leaders, when you have cowards as political leaders, this is what happens. They now go out, any young people they see on the streets, they will pack them to their barracks and prepare them for execution. This is happening now in Ohafia barracks. In Ohafia barracks as we speak. And when they shoot them, you will have some people say they cannot treat those with gunshot wounds. As happened in Enugu. I don't know what is wrong with our people. There is something wrong. That was why we prayed for forgiveness and restoration before started this very program this evening. I don't know. There are Igbo doctors in Enugu that refuse to treat gunshot victims. Somebody sat somewhere praying and he was shot. An Igbo doctor said he will not treat him in Enugu. You should go and get police report from a Fulani man. I don't know what they did to us. I don't know if it is the beef we eat. I don't know how they manage. This nonsense they did to us is what they want to bring into IPOB. But it can never work. This rubbish they have done. Look at how they have decimated our minds. We can no longer reason properly. A doctor, an Igbo doctor, knows that his brother was shot for no reason. He refused to treat him in Enugu. I want the name of the hospital. And today the useless zoo police came out to say, police insists hospitals can treat gunshot, stab victims without report. But that is how cowardly we have become. That a doctor is so afraid of Fulani that even though Fulani is saying to him, you can treat your brother, treat him, no problem. He's saying, no sir, I won't treat him. Remember your laws before you said we shouldn't treat them. How come you have now changed it? Oh please sir, let me obey the former law you made. An Igbo doctor in Enugu. That is the extent of the damage they have done to our psyche as a people. And we are not going to accept it. This evening we are telling Amnesty International, British High Commissioner, American Ambassador, are you aware that Fulani have gone out on the streets, rounded up people that any young person they see outside, they have now driven them into Ohafia barracks tonight, inside Ohafia barracks tonight, for possible execution. Whereas Mietiala is free, roaming about with AK-47, doing as they wish, as they please. Are you people aware of it now? Are you aware of it now? You know, Ohafia barracks right now, they have driven them. They know we have intelligence everywhere. Have you seen what they have done? You can see the level of provocation because of the high number of saboteurs you have in our midst. Tomorrow night they'll start complaining. IPOB is this, IPOB is that. Are you aware of it now? That this night they have driven people to execute them inside of Half-Year barracks tonight, to kill them tonight, young men, young Igbo boys. And you have a doctor, you have Igbo doctors saying they will not treat their own brothers. Their own brothers, they won't treat them because a Fulani man said don't treat. That was 3 years ago. Now, even though they have now changed the laws, they have come back to say, oh, please, we won't even treat them. You remember your laws before. You said we shouldn't treat them. Oh, don't worry, we will not treat them. They will die there. These are Igbo doctors. And these are the people we are fighting for. These are the people we are fighting for their freedom. In Half-Year barracks, they are preparing some young people for execution tonight. In Half-Year barracks, they are preparing for the execution of people in Half-Year barracks tonight. I need the name of the commandant for Half-Year barracks, please. I need his name and I need his picture, and I want it everywhere to alert the world as to what they intend to do. Execution is going to be, because BBC won't report it, CNN won't report it, they have all collected money from the zoo. They are all pursuing an Islamic agenda, all of them. Your governors will not do it because they have promised them presidency, all the 7 of them. They will not talk, they will not speak. We are now putting the world on notice that executions are about to take place tonight. Half-Year barracks. Executions are about to take place tonight of unarmed, innocent people that the Fulani Janjaweed army picked up from the streets. They are going to execute them tonight. If your child does not come back, if your child is not coming back anymore, you know your child has been picked up and executed in Half-Year barracks tonight. That is what they are doing there. They are preparing for execution tonight in Half-Year barracks. I need the name of the commandant of Half-Year barracks. I need his name, please, and I need his picture, and I want it everywhere. The man who is going to carry out the executions, I want his name and his picture everywhere, that the world may know. That the world may know. Very, very important that the world may know. Sometimes I don't even know and this who is even worse. Who is worse? Who is worse? Please, who is worse? Very, very sad indeed. Extremely sad indeed that our people do not understand what is befalling them. Whereas the Fulani, they are threatening to go. I don't know how they got to us. I don't know how they managed to do this thing to us. I keep saying, is it the cattle that we are eating? I don't know how they managed to penetrate us this way, that our brain has been scrambled. We no longer reason very well like a people. We are no longer together like a nation. It is impossible now to hold our people together. That is the rubbish they want to try in IPOB. Say that on your walk, the idiot will suffer. Look at what I've done to our people. That now Fulani army can come in the evening, raid somewhere, pack young men, and drive them to the barracks and execute them. And you want to contest for presidency? You want to be president? This particular group, this crop of leaders we have is the worst in the history of our people. The very worst in the history of our people. Disgraceful. Disgraceful. There are executions happening tonight in Half-Year barracks. Executions are happening in Half-Year barracks tonight. Young men picked up in and around that state and driven to Half-Year to be executed tonight. Driven to Half-Year barracks to be executed tonight, where you have no governors. Whereas in Yoruba land, they have spoken, Amoteku won't be under the IG of police. It can never be. These are men who are talking. And I challenge anybody to show me any Eastern politician. I challenge you to show me anybody who has the mettle, who has the guts to stand up and to say, to look at how their own children have been packed into Half-Year barracks to be executed tonight. They won't say nothing. Now these are the leaders now you want to respect, people to respect. Are these not the leaders? Are these not the leaders? Our people, they are in one almighty mess. In one almighty mess. Makinde has responded to the presidency. A Yoruba man, people that we used to call cowards before, and said to them, There is no way Amoteku can be under federal government. But look at your governors that wants to embrace community policing. Let's go. They had a meeting. The elders had a different view from the governors. The governors went back and re-invited the IG. They are the only set of idiots to invite IG to their meeting. Did Amoteku invite any IG to their meeting? When the Oduduwa were setting up their security, did they invite any Fulani man there? I don't know what is wrong with. I have no idea what is wrong with this generation. I have no idea who corrupted their brain. I have no idea, to be honest. I have no idea. I have no idea. But inside Ohafia Barracks tonight, people are being executed in Ohafia Barracks by Fulani Janjaweed terrorist army. Governor Sheyi Makinde has disagreed with the presidency over its plan to bring Oyo State Security Network, popularly known as Amotekun, under the control of Inspector General of Police. They have said no. Oyo State have said no. Ondo said no. Ekiti said no. These are governors' men in office. Back in Biafra land, it's just women. All they know how to do is to fight their own people. That is all. Who can sell each other better to the Fulani? That's all they do. And these are your so-called leaders. These are your leaders. These are your so-called leaders. And I want to make it very clear to this Brigadier General Solomon Babatunde Kumapai, or whatever the idiot's name is. You will be in very serious trouble should anybody be executed in Ohafia tonight. Brigadier General Solomon Babatunde Kumapai, you cannot be serving Fulani Janjaweed in Biafra land when in Yoruba land where you come from, there's Amoteku. You cannot. You cannot. Anybody who is executed, you will die for it as well. I'm just telling you what is going to happen to you. So don't think that this generation whereby you kill and you go free, you will not go free. Go and ask your mates, they will tell you. If anything should happen to the people you have taken into Ohafia Barracks tonight, one of them goes missing, believe you me, you will die. Try and see now. Ask those in Enugu, they will explain to you better. Mad people everywhere. Idiot. You think we are joking? You think we are joking? Let's kill anybody in that barracks who will come after you. Go and kill them. You will see what will happen to you. Madman. Idiot. That is where you are. Is that where Boko Haram is? Were you not meant to be fighting Boko Haram and bandits all over the place? Have you fought any Mietiala person before? It's only on because we have no guns and bullets. That is where you go, you pack people, you take them to Ohafia Barracks to go and execute. And you're a Yoruba man. Okay. We shall see. We shall see. We shall see. Execute them now, you see what will happen to you. Idiots like you. Fools everywhere. Bunch of monkeys in Africa. I don't know who gave you people AK-47. That's the worst mistake a white man made, is to give a baboon. You look at a baboon in the forest and you give him AK-47. What do you think is going to happen? A baboon somewhere. Give him AK-47. Mad people everywhere. ISIS is spreading in Africa. They have taken a city in Mozambique, and all of you are blind. What this Solomon is doing, what this idiot is doing. You're doing a brigadier general where there are civilians. Go and fight a war. Which war have you fought before? Brigadier general. Which war have you fought before? Is it a war of arresting unarmed civilians and driving them into your barracks to go and execute them? Is that the war you're fighting? Stupid idiots like you. Fool. ISIS is taking up everywhere. You can't, as a soldier, you cannot go and fight ISIS. It's to be picking up unarmed people from the streets. That's what you do. Tomorrow our lawyers will be there. Don't give it to our lawyers or refer their matter to court and you see what will happen to you. Idiot. Fools everywhere. A bunch of monkeys from Africa. I have no idea what is wrong with you people. I have no idea what is wrong with you people. You have fools who are calling themselves governors all over the place. All they do is they always justify their sabotage. They always justify the way they behave towards their own people. It is because of the stupidity of this so-called generation of useless leaders. That was why the zoo managed to sustain the narrative that the Ojukwu went to war. If not for IPOB. If not for Radio Biafra. If not for Radio Biafra. If not for Radio Biafra. Stupid people everywhere. They call themselves, we are the leaders, we are the elite, we are in Abuja, we are in Lagos. But all these years, you people were there, they were peddling lies against Ojukwu. All these years, you were there when Obama was meddling in the zoo election to remove John. All of you were there. Did you say anything? Did you say anything? Did you say anything? Nonsense. We are going to teach them a lesson in a half year. They will see. That thing they want, they will get it in a half year. They will get it now, and I'm sure they know that very well. The BBC will prepare. Prepare. BBC will should go and prepare. Prepare as usual to publish falsehood and nonsense. Prepare as usual. All over the place, grown-up people, grown-up men are rising up to defend their own. It is only in Biafra land that you have political leaders who will sit idly by and watch the decimation and watch the destruction of their own people. It's only them. You will sit idly by and watch the destruction of your own people. Only you. Especially those of them that claim they are Igbo. I don't know what is wrong with them. I have no idea what is wrong with them. Let us try and see if we can get you what a proper governor is saying. Listen.
They were not carrying arms.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't allow them to carry arms.
Mm-hmm.
The case was made at the end of the day. Today they carry arms. I'm sure Amotekun case gradually will be like that. We're going to make the case.
Well, Your Excellency, it appears as though the IGP is indulging. And
This is a Yoruba Akeredolu saying that one day Amotekun will bear arms. We don't even have arms, so there is no security network. Look at how the army is packing our people and executing them in Ohafia barracks. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? They pack people, they kill them in broad day. This one will happen tonight. They are executing people tonight in Ohafia barracks. These are the people we used to say, oh, Yorubas are cowards. Can you see what their governors are saying? Makinde have said, this is Akeredolu, I want to play his voice for you. He said, Amotekun will carry arms to defend Yoruba nation. Listen very carefully. Your own is, they promised them presidency and they have abandoned their first duty, which is to defend their own people. A bunch of fools they are. Listen, please.
At least when civil defense started, they were not carrying arms. They didn't allow them to carry arms. But the case was made at the end of the day. Today they carry arms. I'm sure Amotekun case gradually will be like that. We're going to make the case.
well, Your Excellency, it appears as though the IGP is indulging, and now we know that there's a community policing idea there.
Listen.
And I'm wondering, what if in eventuality that the IGP says, well, this is not going to happen, except you collapse Amotekun into community policing, then would you just leave Amotekun to be handicapped, in quote, for the time being? What are you going to do, really?
I've said this. I said it clearly.
Listen.
Let me repeat it. We will not collapse Amotekun to community policing. Amotekun was
a Yoruba governor. You see people that love their people. They say, oh, the Yorubas, they respect their politicians. Why won't you respect a man that speaks this way? Has any of you spoken this way and you do not get respect? Don't Abaribe have respect? Don't Professor Wala have respect? Don't our elder Mbazulika Mechi have respect? If you speak like a grown-up man, somebody will respect you. Tell me why Yoruba people will not respect governors like this if you speak this way. Listen.
That on his own, there is a law creating this Amotekun setup, this security setup. So it's not going to be collapsed. There is no intimidation. We are not people that can be intimidated, and we are not people that the IG will give order to. It's not possible. We will not collapse it. I've said so. There's no need for us to belabor this issue. We will not. But all we say is that if is prepared, we are prepared to discuss with him. Let us discuss on this matter. Amotekun is different, community police is different. Amotekun will collaborate, all of us will collaborate together. The issue now that is left is about carrying arms. I will say we will pursue this and make them understand at the end of the day. If the IG now does not understand, it will leave one day. Well, another IG will come, other people might understand if he doesn't want to understand. We are not forcing him to understand.
Are you listening? It doesn't matter what the IG of police says. The Yoruba nation, the Duduwa nation have determined that Amotekun is here to stay, unlike the useless Igbo governors that betray their own people. That is why today, because the army has nothing to do, they will go and they will drive civilians into their barracks to go and execute them. And you want us to respect such people as leaders? Is that what you think? You think you're insane. Anybody saying that is absolutely mad, is insane. Look at the way they are behaving. Compare their behavior with how the Yorubas are behaving. And that tells you all you need to know. That will tell you all you need to know. That will tell you all. It doesn't matter where they send their families to. Believe you me, as we are hunting the terrorists, we are also hunting every slave in our land. I'm telling you the truth. And they will get it, all of them, one after the other. Mad people ever. You want to sell our land that the army can drive out of their barracks. They have no war. There is no war going on. They go and round up some young people. The killing in Enugu is not enough. They now want to do it in secret, half your barracks. Listen, because the Yorubas, they have security network supported by the governors. They're your own governors who betray anybody who tries to form security network. The governors will go and betray the person.